Hey, folks. It is good to see you on this Monday morning. I'm going to give it a second for folks to get on in here. If you are watching on Facebook or YouTube, please make sure that you comment so that I can say hi. If you do not comment on Facebook or YouTube, I don't know that you're here. TikTokers, let's be about the business. Good morning, Mary Shaw. How are you? Good to see you. What's up, Terry Booker? Hey, Allie. Stacy D in the place to be. What's up? Hey, C, how are you? Good morning, Veronica. What's up, Jacqueline? Hey, Farah. Good morning. It is me. How are you? You guys had a good Easter Austera weekend. Everybody had a good weekend. What's up, San? How are you? Hey, Beach Bum wannabe. Sherry, good to see you. Lots of things happening. Hey, Sharon. What's up? Love to ski. Thank you for sharing. I appreciate it, Farah. Good morning, good morning, good morning, Candy Red, Auntie Tinker. Good to see you as well. What's up, One New York Queen, Blue Nevada? You spoke at the protest, Mel Gray. I love that. Hey, Witch. Good to see you. Hey, Pamela Jones over there in YouTube world. Good to see you as well. What's up, Lisa? What's up, Tracy? How are you guys? Good to see everybody. Feeling encouraged? Yeah, there's a lot. There's a lot to actually feel encouraged about, to be quite frank, right? What's up, Dirty Bad Bloggers? Miss Henderson, good to see you as well. Hey, Carol, good to see you. So yeah, I was with love that, Mel Gray. That's exactly what we got to do, right? Hey, Sharita, appreciate you all. Hey, Gemini, what's up, Saint Bart? Hey, Yankee fan. I know the Pope did pass away. Apparently, shortly after meeting with JD Vance, I will withhold all potential sarcastic jokes about that and the timing. Marky J, yeah, I'm on TikTok right now. Just went live everywhere all at the same time. What's up, Max? Good to see you. Hey, Yobi, how are you? Yeah, so I have been with family all weekend. For those of you guys who know, my daughter was sick and had the flu, and then my mom got sick, and she's still a little under the weather. So had all three grandbabies as well, and then my niece and my great niece, and so it just did not present the opportunity to go live. So it's just this morning. That's what we're gonna do, right? But we had a good time yesterday. We colored one set of eggs, just one, because y'all know eggs are hella expensive, right? And then we bought plastic eggs and we got these glow in the dark plastic eggs that were really cute. And they had little mini glow sticks in them, and we put a piece of candy in a glow stick and all the eggs, and then we put them out there for the kids to go find and all of that. So it was a good weekend, and we had a big brunch. I did brunch yesterday for everybody, so I did some pancakes and bacon and scrambled cheesy eggs, and then strawberries and grapes and blueberries and cantaloupe and whatever else, right? So that's what we did. Yeah, so it was a good weekend, just very very busy and a lot for me. So thanks, Mel Gray. Yeah, Stacey D, I'm that way. I love brunch, 100% all day, every day. Thanks, Linda, for being on top of it. So I want to talk about uh, the Trump administration and the fact that they are 100% losing in the courts. And I couldn't be happier about that. Yeah, Lenny, I got that a lot. I got that a lot. I posted pictures of brunch on my Facebook, and people were like, "I'm on my way over, and I'm coming, and I didn't get an invite, and all the things." Right. So it's been quite a bit here lately, right? So, and that's okay. It is what it is. So we are I do have a lot to talk about, including the overnight ruling from the Supreme Court. That was again another, what's up, Bronze? That was another you know hit to the Trump administration. And I think I said this. I said I think that it will be interesting to see, hey Candy, because I think that the Trump administration is going to find themselves maybe in a bit of a trick when it comes to the Supreme Court, right? um, Here's the thing about the Supreme Court. That is a lifetime appointment. They are the law of the land. And I think they might be a body that could very well be like have a bigger ego or a bigger stake in things than the Trump administration, right? So I think that it's important to talk about all of those things. And so the overnight ruling came on Friday, right? We heard about it yesterday. What's up, Cynthia? And so I want to talk about it, but I also want to talk about a couple of other rulings that I don't think people are aware of. So what I did lay my hands on, and I have all of the I have all the monitors going today so that I can pull up things while I talk to you, and then I've got to add things to the link tree, which I haven't done that just yet. Oh, thanks, Carla. That one's cute. I haven't seen that one, I don't think. What's up, Yankee fan? Yeah, so we just got a lot going on, and I don't even know if we're gonna have a time to get to all of it. But let me just say this: I did record a new podcast episode, and I was able to get that up today, right? Yeah, and that second signal chat. Yeah, we're going to talk about that too, right? What's up, Susan? Good to see you as well over there in Facebook world. Um, and I think there could have been like, could we not? I just don't know. Oh, thanks, Mary Shaw. I appreciate that. Thanks for following, Misty. I appreciate that as well. I'm checking really quickly just to see if there's anything else. You know, it's a lot, right? It is Danny time. What's up, Swells? Yeah, so so this new podcast episode, I talk a little bit about some immigration information and some facts, right? And then I talk about the Abrego Garcia case specifically. And then, of course, that is the topic that Rolo and I are also going to do a podcast episode on as well. So, what's up, T? Good to see you. So, just a lot going on. And what's up, Witch? Good to see you. Hey, Melinda. What do you mean, Lisa K? Hey, Eunice. Good to see you as well. What hadn't posted yet? I don't know what you're referencing that hadn't posted yet. But anyway, so we're gonna talk about all of these things. So I did find a site that I am really kind of enthused about, right? So this site actually tracks every single court case of the Trump administration. You just checked and it wasn't there. You just checked where and it wasn't there. You mean the podcast episode? Is that what you're referring to? Because it went out this morning. Yeah, it's there. Um, yeah, no, it's there. I'm looking at it right now. It's had 95 downloads since I put it up, I don't know, maybe an hour ago, something like that. So yeah, it's there. I don't know if you need to refresh, but it's there, and people are downloading it. So yeah, it's there. So good morning, Robert McKinney. Good to see you as well. All right. So I just wanted to double check and make sure everything was good. And it is. Everything is okay. Good morning, Shannon. Yeah, Carla, it's there. I just checked. All right. So let me just tell you, I did find a website. And love that, Swells. And so this website tracks every single court case under the Trump administration. And here's what I love is they go back and they actually put like when the latest update. Yeah, but the downloads are what matter the most, Swells. That's what matters. Hey, Ryan, good to see you. Good to see you coming back as well. So here's the thing about these court cases. This is what I love is that, a lot of times they don't get as much press as these executive, right? This website is doing the Lord's work. This website is definitely doing the Lord's work. And so am I on YouTube right now, Shannon? Yes. So I am on Facebook, YouTube, and TikTok all at the same time. So yep, I'm everywhere right now. Good morning, Sarah. Okay, so let me just a couple of housekeeping. Let me do a little bit of housekeeping. I have some new things that I'm going to add to the link tree at the end of this episode. Wherever, so the podcast is on like Apple Podcasts, Podbean, Spotify, Amazon Music, Audible, all of those types of places, right? Apple Podcasts automatically downloads. Yes, 100%. So those are the places where you will find the podcast, right? I specifically don't have the podcast going to my YouTube. I don't know that it's even, I got to see if it's an option or not. But anyway, but the podcast is everywhere else. And if I need to, I'll click the button and throw it to my Facebook and my YouTube when I get off of here. Hey, Patrice, good to see you as well. So a little bit of housekeeping. So let me go ahead and kind of give you the deal. Tomorrow, my time will be a little bit different. Tomorrow morning, I will need to come on early, and that is because I have a very important VA appointment tomorrow at noon. So that means tomorrow I'm going to have to be on at like 8:30 in the morning, and be off by like 11 in the morning, something like that, and go from there, right? So that's going to be the best thing for me to do tomorrow, or it's going to have to be tomorrow evening. So if you don't see me in the morning, that is because things just got too hectic, and it won't be until tomorrow afternoon. Also, if you are new to this live, if you are new to me being live, put a one in the comments for me, because I want to kind of give you some information and level set so you know what room you're in and what you can expect. What's up, Amy? Good to see you. I say, so if you are new to me, hey, Marcia, good to see you. Welcome, welcome, welcome. All right, so this is a space where we like to discuss opinions, and we want to root those opinions in fact. This is not a live where we scream at each other. Linda, please, you know you're not new. This is not a live where we scream at each other, call each other's name, talk over each other, and just spout nonsense. That's not what we do here. We like to have like just reasonable conversation. You do not have to agree. We can have dialogue and we can have discourse. The key is to be able to back up your opinion with fact, right? And as long as you can do those things, then we're going to be just fine. What's up, Victoria? Good to see you. So I have 4 things that I ask for in this space. Number 1, to be respectful. Number 2, no slurs. Number 3, do not spam my comments. And number 4, do not type in all caps. All caps is reserved for my moderators and for those with vision impairment. Got it? So other than that, if you can do those things, we can get along just fine. And I would love for you to be able to come and join the panel and have a conversation, even if you disagree with me, and we can talk about facts, right? So I appreciate all the things. So things that I do want to talk about for folks who don't quite get what I say. When I say that Trump is losing in the courts, that's not an opinion. That's actually a fact. So if you look at the orders that have come through the court systems, Donald Trump's administration is 100% losing when it comes to court. That's just a fact. They are ruling against him in pretty much every single damn case that he has brought before them, right? And so I'm going to add the link to this website to my link tree as well, so that you can just peruse all of these cases just like I can, right? And what I love about them too is it has links to all of the judges' opinions, which I love that as well. So yeah, thanks, Marky. I appreciate that. All right. So, Dean, if you would love to come up and join the panel, feel free to do that. Okay. So what we like to do is talk about that is giving you some hope. Yeah, Marnie. And that's the thing that I want people to focus on, is that the executive orders and the outlandish behavior and the things like that, those are the things that we hear about the most. What we don't tend to hear about are the outcomes, or if we do, we don't hear about them as long or in all the places that we should, right? Hey, Joe, do me a favor. And I know that you are anti-Trump, and that's cool, but just if we can avoid the spam of the comments with the designs and things, that would be great. I've got folks who do watch that have vision impairment and things like that, and it's just not conducive for everybody. When Dixie, I don't know if I saw you or not and said hello, but hello, good to see you. Okay. All right. So things that I want to talk about. So over the weekend, I'll start with, hey, Jerry, good to see you as well. I will start with the latest Supreme Court decision. Okay. So how many of you all saw the late night, overnight 7-2 ruling from the Supreme Court? How many of you all saw that? Let's talk about it, because, hold on. Because I think it's great. You did? You saw it, Amy? Yeah. Marcia? No, you didn't see it, Veronica? Okay, let's talk about it. All right. So very, very quickly, it came out yesterday morning. It was overnight. So 7-2. And nope, it was night before last. I think, yeah, night before last. And so the Supreme Court said, and I'm just going to read it. It's order in pending case, right? And it says there is before the court an application on behalf of a putative class of detainees seeking an injunction against their removal under the Alien Enemies Act. The matter is currently pending before the Fifth Circuit. Upon action by the Fifth Circuit, the Solicitor General is invited to file a response to the application before this court as soon as possible. The government is directed not to remove any member of the putative class of detainees from the United States until further order of this court. And it says C 28 USC 1651A. Now, I will give you a guess, just a guess, as to who the two judges were that dissented. Who were the two that dissented? Come on, y'all. I know y'all know this. What's up? Hey, Macaroni. Say hi to Sue, Alito, and Thomas. Look at y'all. Ding, 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 ding. You all know. Alito and Thomas. And Alito gave a long-winded version of his dissent, which I don't really care about. What I love is that. So I think notable is that Amy Barrett Comey, she was in the 7, and so was Brett Kavanaugh, who I can't stand, but good for you, Kavanaugh, right? I just want to point that out, as well as Chief Justice Thomas. I think those things are significant, especially this is Thomas's court. And when you are the Chief Justice, hey, Mandy, hey, Siberia, when you are the Chief Justice, right, you are kind of known for it's Robert's court, right? It's Robert's court. And so there are things, and Gorsuch, yes, thank you, and Gorsuch too, right? It's his court. And so there are things that his court is going to be known for already. We know that it's going to be known for overturning Roe v. Wade. And so you just wonder, is he going to allow his court to be the court that is known for getting rid of due process and literally undoing the Constitution? And I just don't think that it will be. I said this before, and I'm going to say it again. I think that the Trump administration wrongly assumed things about the people that it put into the Supreme Court. I think those folks were just fine with undoing Roe. I don't think they're going to be fine undoing the Constitution, right? Appreciate you guys for the hat. And so I think that's the part where they have miscalculated quite a bit, quite frankly. So I think when we start with Thurgood rolling in his grave, right? Yes. So I think that this is a big thing that enough people aren't paying attention to, because this is a 7-2 ruling, and we had a 9-0 ruling prior to this in reference to Abrego Garcia, right? You hear me what I'm saying, right? So what we see is that when it comes to due process, when it comes to the Constitution, what's up, Wawa? We are seeing that even some of the conservatives on the court are not aligning with what the Trump administration would like them to do. Right. The 9-0 was for stopping the Venezuelans from being deported. Correct. No, that's not accurate. That's the 7-2. The 9-0 is in reference to Abrego Garcia coming home. That was the 9-0. The 9-0 was in reference to Abrego Garcia coming back. The 7-2 was in reference to not deporting the Venezuelans. Okay, so 9-0 was Abrego Garcia. Okay, so good morning, Linda. Good to see you as well. Right, because they took an oath to the Constitution, not to the orange. And don't call him an orange, because we don't do that. That orange is a food, not to Donald Trump. Not to Donald Trump. Okay, so for those of y'all who might be new to me and you don't know what I'm talking about right there. So I have a thing, and this is my guideline. So I know that people call Donald Trump orange. I know they call him Cheeto. I know they even call him 45 or 47. I don't call him any of those things. And the reason why I don't is because 45 and or 47 is a number, right? Orange is a fruit or color, and Cheeto is a food. And so the reason is this simple. None of those things are a human being. And whether I think he's a shitty human being or not is beside the point. He's still a human being. And so I believe in not calling people things that dehumanize them, because when we refer to people as something less than human, we give ourselves permission to treat them as if they are less than human. Like, on a real serious note, I don't get down with dehumanizing people, even if I think they're shitty people. At a bare minimum, they're a human being. You know what I mean? Right. So yeah, that Sammy J, that one's fine, right? So just kind of throwing that out there for everybody, so that everyone knows. That's just kind of how I like to do things, because I think it's important, folks. Listen, we have to remember that we are not the same as those who want to treat people as if they're not human, right? What's up, Renee? Hey, Eve. You hear me? We do not want to dehumanize people. I have been saying this for years now. And the case that I make for that is very simple. Guys, dehumanizing people is how we got chattel slavery in this country, right? Hey, Kathy. I'm telling y'all, dehumanizing people, you begin to give yourself permission to treat them as less than human. And we see that in our for-profit prison systems. We see that with, mass deportation. We see that with all of those things. But that is literally how we got chattel slavery. So it's important for us to not do that. You do not want to be someone that is okay with dehumanizing a person. I'm not saying you have to love them. I'm not saying you have to like them. I'm not saying, no, I don't think there's an exception to that rule ever. Love to ski. No, I don't believe there's an exception to that rule ever. Because even if I think you are a shitty individual, and make no mistake, I believe that Donald Trump is a shitty human being. I believe that he lacks empathy. I believe that he lacks compassion. I believe that he is selfish. I believe that he is prejudiced. I believe that he is bigoted. I believe that he is hateful. I believe that he is all of those things. And at the end of the day, he's still a human being. Period. He's still a human being. So that's kind of where I land on things. Period. And it's not about whether or not he deserves to be treated like a human being. It's about, do I want to be someone who doesn't treat someone like a human being? Yep, he's a felon, all of that. But here's what I will say. I know some felons that are really good people. Felon alone doesn't mean you're a shitty person. Just need to point that out, folks. I think we need to kind of bring it all together. It's important for us to not fall into that trap. This is one reason why I think the Democratic Party did a horrible job. You're welcome, Amy, with that prosecutor versus felon. That was a dumb tactic, and I'll tell you why. Right? I'll tell you why. Because there are plenty of felons who have the right to vote. There are plenty of people who are felons who have the right to vote, who did their time, who paid their debt to society, who are great, contributors to society and all of those things, right? And those people were grouped in with someone and that lives a completely different way. Right, Stacey, you could do that. Okay. So that prosecutor versus felon thing, I knew when they did it, it was going to backfire. Not real good thinking. Not real good thinking at all. I don't know who the hell is behind the strategy and messaging at the Democratic Party, but that wasn't great. You might have thought it was great, but that is because you're out of touch with the regular, ordinary people. You hear me? I just want to be clear, you're out of touch, because there are a lot of people that have been convicted of felonies that there were lots of circumstances, and that one moment in time is not the entirety of who they are as people. So I think it's important that we remember that as we talk about things, right? What's up, Christine? Good to see you. So, I wanted to point out, there you go, Stacey D, just saying, right? Okay, so Marcia, hold on. The SAVE Act has not passed both sides of the House yet, right? Let me just say that the SAVE Act has not passed both sides of the House yet. So it's important for us to call out the dangers of a thing and also remind everybody that it hasn't happened yet. Okay. So I'm a big believer in calling things a thing and also not going all the way off the deep end as if something has already happened. Because if it hasn't happened, that means you have the ability and the power to stop it from happening. Okay. So this is why, if you know that it's going before the Senate, this is why it's your responsibility to contact your senators. It is your job to write letters to the editor. It is your job to have the wives of military people who are overseas contact their elected officials. This is why it's on every single person to not just be out in the street and protest and not just make great signs, right? But also to be part of the work, right? What I call doing the work, right? Right. They have a felony versus they are a felon. Exactly. So that's part of it, right? So if you don't want the SAVE Act to pass, then it's time for you to be about the business of ensuring that it doesn't pass. And that means contacting your elected officials. That means writing letters to the editors. That means putting up social media posts and tagging those elected officials in those social media posts. All of those things. Okay. All of those things are part of how you do the work. The second thing, third thing, or fourth thing, whatever thing it is, right? So listen, so Five Calls app is great, but and while Five Calls app is great, there is nothing more important or more impactful than the written word. Folks, listen, they will log those calls, but that's not the same thing as receiving an email asking for a response in your email and posting it to your social media and tagging your representative. There's nothing like a written letter to the editor in your local community that calls out your elected officials. There's nothing like that. Okay? So you have to understand that those, yeah, Shannon, and you keep doing it. And at the same time, write a letter to the, so let me just tell you, as soon as you hear that, I'll tell you what I hear immediately. What I hear, Shannon, when you say that is a letter to the editor that says unequivocally that I feel it feels futile for me to do this. I have done it X number of times and I haven't received a response, or I have done it X number of times and I've only received this response, or blah, blah, blah. Do you see what I'm saying? And talking about how, just because I have a difference of opinion shouldn't mean that my representative completely disregards me. That is a powerful letter to the editor. Plus, she's a hot topic with like regular media. So that's a great opportunity for you to pin that letter to the editor. And when you send it to your editor, send a copy of it to some statewide organizations, media, and to some national media. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's the opportunity. The opportunity there is, how many people do you know that are in your local community that feel the way you feel? Your ability is to write a letter, get 50 of you all to sign it, 60 of you all to sign it, right? 100 of you all to sign it, and then that be the letter to the editor, that be the social media post. You see what I'm saying? Like, those are the things that work. Yeah, Connie, I don't know that I've received it. A lot of times, if you are messaging me on Facebook, there are 3 different inboxes on Facebook, right? And so on my main page, there's my regular message that comes through, which I don't have one from you. Then there is an automatic message request thing that Facebook filters people out. And then they have a third one where they filter people to my spam. What's easier for me is if you can tell me exactly like what it is that you need like from me and how I can assist. Because a lot of the things regarding ballot health and care, a lot of the things I've put out the sheets to tell everybody where to go with their complaints and how to do them. Let me see if I can try to think. Comment on like my latest post and I'll make a note to try to click your name and then go like I'm going to message you, because sometimes that's the only way that I can get to a message that's been sent to me. I don't know if that makes sense or not, but like if I don't click your name to go like I'm going to send a message to you, then I don't get to a message that you've sent me, because it's either going to be sitting in one of those two other boxes that I almost never get to because Facebook automatically filters them out. So if we haven't been communicating before, then Facebook, they just filter it out because I get so many. So I hope that answers, that helps. Um, I'm writing down your name. All right. So what's up, Natasha? I see you. Good to see you. Oh, I love that. You're teaching your honors government class, and I'm in your ear. Love that, Stephen. Love that, love that, love that. Give me 1 second. Lloyd Ward. Okay. Yeah, you're welcome, Connie. Okay, so a couple of other things that I want to talk about with reference to the courts, and I will put the link in here to the court cases that I'm talking about. For those of you all who are asking, yes, I did see Nancy Mace acting like an ass to constituents. I did see that. I did see, oh my gosh, the Marjorie Taylor Greene MTG's town hall. I saw all of those things. The reason I don't talk about them all, to be quite frank, is they really don't have anything to do with preserving our rights and protecting the Constitution at the moment. Right? Those are hot button moments that go viral that get everybody worked up. But here's the thing. I know both of those two individuals are shitty people too. I already know MTG is a shitty person. I don't expect her to treat people well. I don't expect her to be any of those things. I don't expect that from Mace either. So for me, I don't even get riled up or whatever with any of either of them, because I already know what to expect from them. You know what I mean? That's my thing. I think they're both horrible people. So I don't expect anything else from either of those two. So I just don't even go down that road. Right. Um, so yeah. So I'm not disheartened by either of those two either, because guess what? Here's what I know is they have hitched themselves to a train that is driving itself off the tracks. Right? And they have hitched themselves to a train, hey Sherry, that every time that train is going on this track, there's a court case decision that comes down that redirects them every single time, folks. And if you don't think this second signal chat is going to be some shit for Pete Hegseth, you're mistaken. It will be. The fact that he had a second signal chat that included his wife and his brother is insane, folks. Since when does the Secretary of Defense have a signal chat with their loved ones about military plans? Never. That's not a thing. Somebody said, wait, what? So you all didn't hear that? No, Grayson, that's not a. Now, if you're talking about MTG and Mace, that's a distraction. If you're talking about Hegseth, that's not a distraction. That is serious national issues. No, Pete Hegseth is not a distraction, folks. I need y'all to understand. Anything concerning the Secretary of Defense is not a damn distraction. I want you all to hear what I'm saying, you all. 100%. Seditious, if you would like to come up here and have a discussion with me about that, we can do it all damn day. Like, I'm dead ass serious about that. If you want to have a conversation with me about national security when it comes to Pete Hegseth, Donald Trump, or Joe Biden, let's come on up here and request to be on the panel. Let's do it. That, I mean, like, that's what I will tell you straight up. What's up, Uka? Good to see you as well. So for those of you all who do not know, there are several articles out there, right? So here is what has happened. You couldn't imagine something. Yeah, nah, it wouldn't be for me, right? So here's what, let me just kind of give it to you. Stop. Let me put this down. So Um, mm, so Pete Hegseth says he wants to claim that this second deal. Thank you for subscribing, Natasha. Is simply it's politically motivated. Which, by the way, that's their claim for absolutely everything. Right? It's politically motivated. It can't be, and I'll tell you why. I'll tell you why. Come here, sis. What you want, Mila? Well, then get one. All you had to do was tell Grammy that, silly. All right, so let me just say this to you all, okay? It can't be politically motivated if it didn't happen. Do y'all hear me? It can't be politically. Nobody's making you. Somewhat, Amy. It can't. Nobody. If they're not making you, they're not. Hey, stop whining. She's just trying to help you, girl.
No, I'm not.
She was trying to open your snack for you. Quit being grumpy. Here. Here, I got you. So let me just say this, okay? Nobody made you create signal chats to discuss national security and military plans. Nobody made you do it the first time you did it, right? And nobody made you do it the second time with your brother, your wife, and your personal attorney. Let's just be clear, right? So if you do something and people call you out about it, that is not politically motivated. That's called accountability, sir. And I use that word so loosely when I refer to Pete Hegseth, right? Well, Ryan, but you know what, Ryan, I don't even want to give him that out. I don't want to give him an out. And I'll tell you why I don't want to give him an out to say, well, maybe it was alcohol. And I'll tell you why. I know plenty of people in the military that drink and drink heavily. I had a first sergeant in Korea who was a straight up functioning alcoholic. He kept a fifth in his drawer. Okay. He kept a fifth in his drawer. So this is the thing. But even those people that I know did not, put national security at risk. I had a drill sergeant who was a straight up alcoholic. He had the whole red face, bloodshot eyes. You know what I'm talking about? Listen, in the military, we've always had some folks that could function while they drank. But the reality but that doesn't always equate to I'm a dumbass and I'm willing to put our national security at risk in group signal chats. No, Candy Red, I don't think he's doing it on purpose. I think he just thinks he's above the law. And he's not the brightest individual. If you've ever listened to the man talk, he's not that smart. Pete Hegseth is not that intelligent of a person. I just need for everyone to understand that. You could tell that. Appreciate you, Cam, when he speaks, right? So, whoops. No, I don't want that. I don't want that. So let me tell you what he said. So late Sunday night, in his response to the Democratic Party's X account, he said, quote unquote, your agenda is illegals, trans, and DEI, all of which are no longer allowed at DOD. That's what Hegseth wrote last night on X. And then, oh my geez, oh Pete, I'm reading it for you guys because y'all know I like to. Yeah, he thinks Jesus and Jenny have his back. And I don't think he realizes that neither Jesus nor Jenny have a security clearance. Neither Jesus nor Jenny have a top secret SCI security clearance. And that is what you would need. Just saying. Right. And the court, while we're talking about trans, except the court blocked his removal of trans individuals from the military, right? And they blocked the Trump administration's change to passports with regard to transgender individuals. So you lost again, Pete, both times, right? It's just absolutely crazy. But anyway, and then of course we did have a few leakers that were around Hegseth that got fired as well. Hey, good morning, Brianna. Good to see you. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know what world they live in, but it's not the world of reality. And I think that that's the thing that people need to understand about these individuals, and don't believe everything that you read. And I want to circle back in just a second. No, he's not qualified for the job in any way, shape, or form. I talked about that heavily before he was confirmed. And let me just say this. So somebody asked me, what do I think about David's his kind of, I don't know, his war on do nothing dims is what he calls them, right? Squirrel. Yes, Stacy. Um, Let me say this. I think those are two completely different things. Yes, leakers around Hegseth got fired. I believe the last count that I saw was three. Three of them had gotten fired. Yes. Uh, Yeah, there's just a lot. I'm not going to read everything, but here's the thing. It has been reported that there is a second signal chat that included his wife, his brother, and his personal attorney that discussed military plans. Okay. I don't care how you slice the cake. The very first signal chat we know for sure included specifics that would be considered classified information. Period. And that's it. That's all there is to it, right? So if you disagree with me, here's what I would invite you to do. I would invite you to did I say brother-in-law? Thanks, Robbie. um so here's what I will say is, if you disagree and you want to have an intelligent, fact-based conversation about it, then feel free to hit the little button, the little guest button. It's pink and blue at the bottom of the screen on TikTok, and you can join the panel and we can absolutely have a conversation, right? Karen, I don't know exactly, right? Because I'm not part of it. I don't know. But we'll see what happens, right? So um I'm looking to see. Yeah, so the details of the Yemen strike are what was included over that one. And no, it actually says brother, not brother-in-law. It actually says brother, not brother-in-law. And it says Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth created another signal messaging chat that included his wife and brother, where he shared similar details of a March military airstrike against Yemen's Houthi militants that were sent in another chain with top Trump administration leaders. And this was reported by the Times, right? A person familiar with the contents and those who received the messages, who, of course, spoke on the condition of anonymity, confirmed the second chat to the Associated Press. Okay, so good Lord. So this second signal chat included 13 people, and the person confirmed that the chat was dubbed "quote unquote" Defense Team Huddle. What the fuck? Defense Team Huddle. What in the world? Um, this is not like a high school football game. This is not Friday Night Lights, right? It sounds so high school. It's so crazy to me. Um, Phil Hegseth, who of course got the job at the Pentagon because of Pete, right? Um, Good God, I cannot. I'm sorry. Um, like, you know how you have to laugh to keep from so many different things, whether it's pulling your hair out or crying. That's what it is when I think about this stuff with Hegseth, right? 100% is he just, we said he was massively underqualified to begin with. And that is more than proven itself to be true in everything that we have seen him doing since he's been in, right? And the thing that's so dangerous about this is that it involves military people, right? It literally puts military people at risk. And that's the part that makes me get angry. This is the part that that you guys please don't talk to We2DVD Elk. The person has 0 following and 2 followers. 2 followers. Like let's just don't waste time and feed the trolls. Let's don't waste time and feed the trolls. How about that? Yeah. Um No, Silent Condor, no. No, I don't think so. I think this is exactly what it is. It's incompetence at its best. What's up, Jen? Good to see you. So, just saying. All right, so I want to go back to the courts. Now that we've talked about Hegseth and what an incompetent joke he is, I want to go back and talk about these court cases in which they are losing hands down every single time. And let me see which one I'm looking at now. Let me see. Hold on, because I have all of them pulled up. Here we go. Okay, so this one that I have up, and yes, I clapped. Don't judge me. The court cases get me excited. Thank you, Jen. That's the second time I saw that one today. I love that one. So my understanding is that the Times is the one who reported it, and it was leaked to the Times. And one of the other people that knew about it and all of those things, it came to the Associated Press, and they confirmed all of the details with the Associated Press as well. Yep. So the Times was the first to report it. Now everybody else has reported it. Thank you, Mama C. And the Associated Press got independent confirmation as well. Appreciate you, Jean. All right, so let me go back to this one. So I already talked about the last case. Oh my gosh, the last case, the last order, by the way, of the Supreme Court. That one is the one that was done at like 1 o'clock in the morning, and it was a late night kind of deal, right? And right, it's almost like there are checks and balances, and I'm hoping that proves to be so. What's up, Dilgrave? So again, this is what that order said from the Supreme Court. There is before. No, nobody's busy yelling the sky is falling. What we are saying is that we're not sure that there are going to be checks and balances, because we have seen that the Supreme Court doesn't always do what the law would require it to, what the law requires it to do, right? So we've seen Supreme Court justices lie during their confirmation hearings and then go on to the court and do the very thing that they swore that they would not do. So it's not accurate to say that people are screaming the sky is falling as if there's not as if we don't have reason to, right? So I think that's important. And I think it's important when you see that everything isn't fine. Ask Abrego Garcia's family, right? Research Shop. Ask Abrego Garcia's family if they believe everything is fine. How about that? Ask the families of the Venezuelans that are over in CCOT if everything is fine. It's not, period. So I think it's asinine to say that. Ask women if everything is fine. No, it's not, right? Ask parents of children with special education needs if everything is fine. They will tell you that it is not, okay? So let's just be very clear that everything is not fine. And what we see are some, like, it's the fact that we even have to guess if there are going to be checks and balances is crazy, because you would think that that should be something that we could rely on, that we would know on. But what we are seeing is that there hasn't been checks and balances all the way across the board. We have seen Supreme Court justices lie. We have seen a Supreme Court justice fly a flag at their house upside down, right? We have seen the wife of a Supreme Court justice participate in the fucking insurrection against the country. So no, everything is not fine. And those same two justices are the two justices that dissented in the last order. So while I'm saying, yes, we do appear to have some checks and balances, it is not as if it is a concrete given thing that is going to be true. So you can miss me with that bullshit, right? Like I'm the Matrix, just shh. I'll let it just go right on over me. Okay? Just so we can be real for a second. So what the court said in that overnight decision right? That 7-2 decision was this. There is before the court an application on behalf of a putative class of detainees seeking an injunction against their removal under the Alien Enemies Act. The matter is currently pending before the Fifth Circuit. Upon action by the Fifth Circuit, the Solicitor General is invited to file a response to the application before this court as soon as possible. The government is directed not to remove any member of the putative class of detainees from the United States until further order of this court. And they give a reference and they say C 28 USC 1651. And the two justices that dissented were Thomas and Alito. And again, the wife that I'm speaking about that participated in the insurrection against the country is Jenny Thomas, Clarence Thomas's wife, right? And Justice Alito is the justice whose flag was flown upside down as if the country was in distress. And he also blamed that on his wife. So it would appear that these two individuals, whatever, like to blame shit on their women, right? But anyway, so that is the 7-2 decision. The 9-0 decision was the decision that said they need to, thanks, Stacey, that the government needs to bring Abrego Garcia home. All right. So I want to talk about something really quickly, okay? Because this one is kind of important. Not that they're not all important, because they are, but I want to, no, actually, Harold, dear, you're wrong. You are wrong. It didn't just say facilitate his return. And I love the fact that you are back. You come back quite frequently, Harold, although you say you disagree with me often. It's kind of interesting that you do. But I'm happy to go ahead and tell you what it actually says. Okay, so give me 1 second and I will tell you. Nope, that is the expedited discovery. I need one more. All right, so I think this is it. Yep, yay me! Look at that, boom, got it, just that quick. All right, so I'm going to tell you. Yeah, Cam, they try, but it's so funny to me. So yeah, it's very important that you read and that you read for comprehension, right? So reading for response, reading for confirmation, none of those things are helpful. What's helpful is when you read for comprehension, because then you are more likely to get it correct. Okay. So let me just tell you what the order actually says. Let me scroll down so I can find exactly what. Oh, is this the? You know, there's a whole list of dissents that go along with it. So give me 1 second. Right. There you go. Read, comprehend, and then confirm. 100%. So it's a shame when I have to go to my own link tree so I can very quickly find what I need. But that's that. There's that. Okay, it's this one. Ha! Good Lord, y'all. Do y'all know how many of these there are? Is this what I have in front of me? Okay, great. Okay, so now I have it open. All right. Right. I'm just saying, Carol, because it's a lot, right? What's happening with sick and tired? I see a lot happening with sick and tired. Bless their hearts. Hey, good morning, Eric. Oh, Eric, everything was unlocked for you, by the way, if you're that Eric. If you're not, don't worry about it. Well, I'm saying I know what you're saying, that they use the word facilitate, and that is not all the order said. Bless your heart. So, Harold, I'm going to tell you exactly what it says, because it's important that you know what the order says, because it doesn't just say facilitate his return. you are stopping at half of the order. And that's why it's important to read the entire thing. Okay. Awesome. Great, Eric. So it's important for you to know what the actual order says, because it doesn't just say facilitate his return, and that's all it says. So let me tell you what it actually says in its entirety. Make sure I'm looking at. All right, so you ready? Ready? Whoops, hold on. Oh my Lord. Holy Jesus. I got to get to the sentence that I want, because it says facilitate blah, 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 a bunch of times. Oh, now it's going to go through the entire thing. So what it actually says is that you have to, okay, so Harold, I don't know what you're talking about. You've read what it says. So Harold, before I tell you what it says, can you tell me what it says? Right. And we know that the word facilitate isn't the thing. Can you tell me what the order actually says? Thank you, Linda. Can you tell me what the order actually says? Because I can tell you what the order actually says. Appreciate you, the boss. Well, it says facilitate and effectuate, and that is the, okay, gotcha. But let me just, right, I got you, Harold. Sorry about that. Because you know you like to come up in here and stir trouble sometimes, so I was just going to cut you off at the pass. Right, Marsha, the judge did, but I'm even talking about what the Supreme Court said. Yeah, he was this time, Cam. You know, I'm used to Harold stirring up stuff, so I was just going to cut him off at the pass today. But appreciate you, Harold. Sorry, I was ready for you today. I was ready. But but here's what it actually said. It not only said that he had to facilitate the return of Abrego Garcia, it actually said and afford him the due process that he would have had if they had not deported him in error. So the entire statement from the Supreme Court was not just facilitate his return, but it said and, right? And you must afford him the process that he was due had you not deported him. And that's the part that's important. That's the part that makes the argument about the word facilitate moot, no matter what. Even if facilitate meant whatever you thought it meant, it doesn't matter. Facilitate means that it doesn't matter. Facilitate means you have to do whatever it is to accomplish the second part. And the second part is to give him the due process that would have happened had you not illegally deported him, right? Now, I said this in my podcast episode today, and I'm going to say it right here so everybody hears me say it. Here's what actually happened. In 2019, Abrego Garcia was granted a withhold from deportation to El Salvador. The government, the Department of Homeland Security, did not contest, they did not appeal that decision, right? So when they did not appeal that decision, it became law. That was the final verdict. Since that time, for 6 years, Abrego Garcia has attended, yet withholding of removal, back to El Salvador. Since that time, he has done everything. He has checked in with ICE. He has done all of those different things, okay? And then, so they go and they grab him on March 12th, and they take him to Louisiana first. Then they take him to Texas. All this time, he's being told you're going to see a judge soon. And then on the 15th, 3 days later, they deport him to El Salvador to CCOT, right? Now, let me just tell you something. When Van Hollen went to El Salvador, he says that the vice president of El Salvador said to him, listen, we're holding him because the Trump administration is paying us $15 million to hold people here. Now, I don't know where you come from, but where I come from, when you abduct someone illegally, you transport them across state lines, you ship them to a different country illegally, and you pay someone to keep them locked up, that is human trafficking, where I come from. I don't think that it matters if you're the Trump administration doing it. That is legally defined as human trafficking. Sit with that for a minute. Okay? So, I think it's important that we talk about the fact that the United States of America is currently engaged in the trafficking of people with lawful status in this country. Do you hear me? Do you hear what I'm telling you? Okay. We need to talk about the fact that the United States of America, the quote unquote land of the free, is engaging in the trafficking of legal status people in this country. Okay? This is important. This is why they have put the United States of America on a watch list for human rights violations. Sharon, I'm not exactly sure. My understanding is there's detention centers in different places. What's up, Gummy Nerd? Yes, Stace, we can do that. So it's important for us to understand where we are and why it's important. And this is one of the reasons why I believe you are seeing the courts rise up in the way that they are. Because the courts don't get elected. Those judges, they don't get elected. And they have a belief in our legal system, right? Right. Yeah, he said he wants to send homegrowns there too. He said they're investigating the legalness of it. The bottom line is what he's doing right now isn't legal. Period. Right? So here's the thing. I think it's important to understand that when people here are if they are here under temporary protected status, that is a legal designation. Listen, that is a legal designation, folks. Now, if you take away that legal designation, so they automatically become illegal, that's not really illegal. That's just some shit. Like, we just need to be clear, folks. This is a real thing. Like, he literally eliminated the protected status of people in order to deport them. What? Those people were here legally. They came here under a legal protection status that is outlined in our immigration system. No, that's not what it means, love. Temporary doesn't mean temporary at the discretion of POTUS. Nope. POTUS isn't the law. Judges are. Judges are. And it's not at the discretion of the president because the president is not a king. I think that Linda Sims, I believe that the judges understand the enormity of the precedent, right? Period. Right? And that it could be anyone. So, and even if they are under deportation, even if there's a deportation order, they still have to have due process. That's it. folks. Do you all not understand that before you can take away temporary protected status and then deport them, you still have to go before a judge? The president of the United States doesn't take away due process. That's it. And I think that some folks are trying really hard to act like you don't understand how the Constitution works. Yeah, the mods are on it, and I do appreciate it. Right? Yeah, it's the Fifth Amendment, it's the 14th Amendment, it's all of those things. And like I said, the Fifth Amendment says that no person shall be deprived of due process. No person. It doesn't say no citizen, it says no person. That's pretty simple. That's no human being, whether you like them or not, whether they're the right shade or not, whether they have the right religion or not, whether they are the right whatever, it doesn't matter. And I say right for those of y'all who don't like whatever race or religion people are. Okay. That is the way that it works. So it's essential, folks, that we understand that every person has due process. Appreciate you, the boss. Okay. So here's what it hold on, I'm going to go back to this part right here. Whew, geez. So again, when we talk about things that the Supreme Court is saying, the Supreme Court is saying, listen, the bottom line is the detainees who are subject to removal orders, right, under the Alien Enemies Act, are entitled to notice and the opportunity to challenge their removal. That's it. That's what has to happen, folks. So I think that everybody needs to understand that this is, appreciate you all. The mods are doing incredible work today. So let me go back to this particular site right here for you guys. Give me a second. I'm going to pull it up. Because like I said, I have all kinds of court rulings that are pulled up right now. Do I have, Lord, I have so many now, y'all. I have tabs. I have tabs. I love that, Kira. I love that. Yeah, it's the Constitution, period. Okay. So, yes, I do know that the Pope passed away the day after meeting with JD Vance. Thank you for subscribing, Marsha. I do have tabs for tabs, Judo. That's true. So let me just say this, okay? Good morning, Sustaining a Smile. So a couple of things that I want to say and just bring everybody kind of up to speed on things. So there's a great, so how many of you all know that okay, I'm going to tell you something that I found out. So, if you've been with me for a while on any of these apps and these platforms, you know that I was talking a lot about immigration prior to the election. And I was addressing, yeah, it was the day after meeting JD Vance. I think he saw the state of Catholicism in the United States of America and was like, I've done all I can do. I'm just kidding. And that's not funny, but I'm just saying. Anyway, well, you know, JD Vance did convert to Catholicism. I'm just saying he did. He did. He wasn't Catholic at first. I'm just saying. I think that here's my thing. I think that I think that number one, this particular Pope has left an incredible legacy when it comes to human rights and even women and AB and all the things, right? So I think for that, yeah, his time was well served and well done. Okay. Um, and I think that similar to Christianity as a whole, what prominent people and the church has done to the core of what Jesus Christ stood for um, is um, is an abomination, right? I think, when we look at Paula White and Joel Olstein and Kenneth Copeland and all the folks, right? It's apparent what's happened when we see the Catholic Church and the Southern Baptist Convention and all of the predators that they moved around and hid from people and all the things. It's an abomination, right? Hey, Megan, I think when you look at the things that they are trying to say they are doing, you know, for Christianity, again, is an abomination, right? So I think it's important that we think about that and understand it for what it is, because that's definitely none of that is what Jesus stood for, right? So, but you remember beforehand, we have been talking about immigration and all the things prior to, and we were talking about this crazy number that Trump and GOP senators and representatives were using to talk about immigration. And they were talking about this 15 million, 20 million, 30 million. Every damn day the number was different, right? It was always different about the number of people that Biden had crossed the border. And we talked about it quite a lot. Well, so in this morning when I was getting ready to record the new podcast episode, right, which is up and out, I went back to look at some of that information. And it was interesting to see that there were pages from the Department of Homeland Security that have been taken down. How about that? How about that? So, and again, this is where I think, yep, Yankee fan, I said the same thing, that it is dangerous when you now have the government taking down pages because they don't go along with their narrative. So, well, Rob, the bot, I'm happy to, but are you really a bot or are you really a person? Which one are you? Are you really a bot or are you a person? Let's just see. I've invited you to join me on the panel. Rod, come see me and let's talk about it. So the site used to be, the link used to be the April 18th of 2024. You all remember when I showed you all the estimates of the unauthorized immigrant documents, and it came out in April of last year, and it went from 2018 to 2022. Do y'all remember when I showed you all that document a bajillion times? The PDF itself was removed. So let me show you. So let me show you. Let me take this down. So YouTube and hold on a second. I want to share a window for you guys. This is the page over here for YouTube and Facebook folks. And this is, I'm coming over here for you all on TikTok now. Give me 1 second. Oh, I just put that phone all up in y'all's face, didn't I? Sorry, Facebook and YouTube. There's too many of y'all on different screens. Okay, so here we go. I'm going to turn my camera around for you. Appreciate you. And there it is. This is the Office of Homeland Security Statistics. We can't find that page. And when you actually go up here and you look at the actual address, this is the April 18th, 2024 Office of Homeland Security's estimates of the unauthorized, and I'll keep scrolling so you can see it, immigrant population residing in the United States, January 2018, January 2022. It has gone. It's gone, folks. It is no longer there. So that's the page, Rod, the bot, whatever the hell your name is, with your inaccurate ass information. It's not there. And I found that today when I was getting information for the podcast. And because, I had shared this information quite a lot prior to the election. And yeah, I know it's not the only page. I know that. But it's important that that page, that PDF itself is gone. Yeah. So, Marsha, let me just say this. The White House was redoing the entire website. And the Constitution is up at the National Archives. And let me make another point about this, folks. The Constitution is in glass on display, and it's not going anywhere. Okay. Before we had a so Linda, don't spam my comments, please, or you'll be muted and blocked. Don't spam my comments. Linda, don't spam my comments. You're about to get blocked. Well, fuck it. Block her, please. Because I'm tired of saying the same thing over and over again. This is not hard, people. Thank you, Gemini. Ugh. Okay. So again, it should not be this hard for people to just, I don't have what I would consider to be like significantly difficult, guidelines. It's very simple. Just be respectful. Don't use slurs. Don't spam my comments. Don't type in all caps. Like, it's not hard at all. Everybody should be able to do those things. Even if you disagree with me, this should be something you should be able to do. Okay. Just saying. Yeah, Mandy, I would think so. But, for some people it is difficult, which is unfortunate, but true. Right. So, all right, now I'm going to go ahead and pull this up. So, I went on here and I was showing, the OFPP website. I'm not sure. It can be DocB. It can be, right. So a couple of things so how many of you all are familiar with the Cato Institute? And hey, Casey Rich, and how many of you all know that the Cato Institute tends to be a little right-leaning, right? Thanks, Shanky Fan. Will do. How many of you all know that the Cato Institute tends to be right-leaning? Not my stomach growling. I cannot. Cato is hard right. Okay, so I think that this is what's funny. Yeah, it's right-leaning. Somebody said it's hard right. I'm being nice. It is right. Okay, so let me show you something. So this might surprise you, but this is from the Cato Institute. Are y'all ready? This is an article from November 2nd of 2023. Hold on, let me put this down real quick. And it says, listen to this. I think so, Happiness, but just because it's Cato at Liberty. So that should tell you what you need to know. Y'all, it's Liberty. But this is what makes it really unique. So listen to this, because this is from Cato. And it says, November 2nd, 2023, it's an article by David Bayer. And it says, new data show migrants were more likely to be released by Trump than Biden. What did you say, Cato? What did you say, Cato? So let me just show you, because it's funny. The link that they put goes to this Judiciary Committee from from Congress. Now, here's what's so funny about the difference in the headlines. So this is what the Judiciary Committee says And they use this data. I will, Natasha, but listen. So the House of Representatives Judiciary Commitment, chaired by Jim Jordan, put out this staff report October 9th of 2023. And it says the Biden border crisis, new data and testimony show how the Biden administration opened the southwest border and abandoned interior enforcement. What's up, Ja? But let me tell you, Cato said, y'all don't know how to read your own damn data. So listen to what Cato said about the House of Representatives Judiciary Committee's report and the data that's included. It says, according to new data published last month, the Biden Department of Homeland Security has removed a higher percentage of arrested border crossers in its first 2 years than the Trump Department of Homeland Security did over its last 2 years. Oh, good gosh, really? Bless its heart. Oh, thank you. Somebody already did it. Go, Gemini. You handle it. I love it. So listen to what it says. Moreover, listen to this, y'all. Moreover, migrants were more likely to be released after a border arrest under President Trump than under President Biden. In absolute terms, the Biden Department of Homeland Security is removing 3.5 times as many people per month as the Trump Department of Homeland Security did. These figures are important for understanding how each administration has carried out border enforcement. During the Trump administration, the Department of Homeland Security made 1.4 million arrests, what it calls encounters, in fiscal years 2019 and 2020, over 24 months. And then it says, of those people arrested, only 47% were removed as of December 31st, 2021, which includes people arrested by Trump that were removed by Biden, and 52% were released into the United States. So let me repeat this again, folks. I told you all I got all this to add to the link tree when I'm done, okay? But I need y'all to hear this, okay? This is from Cato. Y'all know that Cato is right. I'm saying this so cautiously. It's right leaning. It's right. You're welcome, Scott. Thank you all for the octopus. I'm sorry. They are right leaning. Cato is, okay? This is why it makes it so, yeah, they a little bit leaning. Cato founder Charles Koch. Right. But this is why it's so amazing that this is from Cato. And it's referencing the Judiciary Committee's report in 2023 when Jim Jordan was the head of the Judiciary Committee, right? And the way that Jim Jordan's report showed that they did not know how to interpret the data, because here was the difference. They were giving Trump credit for things that happened under Biden. Mila, come here. What do you need? Okay, well, hold on a second and stop whining. Thank you. I don't care if that's what she wants for lunch. Good Lord. Okay. So listen at what it says. I'm going to go back and give it to you again. Y'all ready? So Deb, my daughter is better. My mom is still under the weather and the kids are cool. All right. So here we go. So it says, according to new data published last month, which is the Judiciary Committee's report that I'm referencing, it says the Biden Department of Homeland Security, DHS, has removed a higher percentage of arrested border crossers in its first 2 years than the Trump Department of Homeland Security did under its last 2 years. Moreover, migrants were more likely to be released after a border arrest under President Trump than under President Biden. In absolute terms, the Biden Department of Homeland Security is removing 3.5 times as many people per month as the Trump Department of Homeland Security did. These figures, appreciate you guys for subscribing. These figures are important for understanding how each administration has carried out border enforcement, right? No, because it's through the end of 2020, right? So it's like that's only the last 6 months, and we didn't declare a national emergency until like further along. So check this out. So listen, under Biden, the Department of Homeland Security made over 5 million arrests in its first 26.3 months. Hold on a second, let me go back. During the Trump administration, DHS made 1.4 million arrests, what it calls encounters, in fiscal years 2019 and 2020, 24 months. Of those people arrested, only 47% were removed as of December 31st, 2021, which includes people arrested by Trump and removed by Biden. And 52% were released into the United States. So under the Trump administration, they were releasing more people than they were returning, 52% versus 47, right? Under Biden, I just said it, it's 47%. And those 47% included people that were arrested by Trump and removed by Biden, okay? Under Biden, the Department of Homeland Security made over 5 million arrests. Mila, what's wrong? What happened, Bella? Did you hit her, Bella? Okay. Let me see. Come here. Y'all know what happens. Give me a second. Okay, let me see. Where? Show me where. Okay, let me see. It's all better now. It's all better now. Lay down. Okay, so thank you, Bella. Bella said she was sorry. It was an accident. Okay. I can't. Oh, no, me. Okay. So, thank you, Gemini and Linda. Appreciate you guys. So let me just tell you what it says. Under Biden, DHS made over 5 million arrests in its first 26.3 months, and it removed nearly 2.6 million, which is 51%, while releasing only 49%. In other words, the Trump Department of Homeland Security removed a minority of those arrested, while the Biden Department of Homeland Security removed a majority. Biden managed to increase the removal share while also increasing the total removals by a factor of 3.5, right? And then it gives you the actual tables, right? So it gives you the outcomes as far as like each of the presidents, right? Thanks, Marshmallow. And the expulsions and the repatriations, right? It gives you the no confirmed departure for each of them, still detained, released, share expelled, shared release. So here's what you come out with. This is Cato, which is what I'm saying, Helena. This is Cato's website, which is absolutely a right website, period. Right? There's no getting around that fact. This is a right-leaning website, period. Right? And they are taking the Judiciary Committee's report that came out in 2023. When I bring you guys up, put yourself on mute until I can get to you for me. And it is giving that information, and they are interpreting the data. And let me tell you what it says. It says, now some of you guys, I don't know if you're requesting to come up and you don't mean to because you are tapping and liking the live, which may be a thing. If so, just let me know and I will drop you down if you did not mean to request up. Jacqueline, that was a mistake. No worries. Got you. If you did not mean to request up, just let me know and I will drop you down. No worries. Okay. But give me 1 second. Some of y'all are like, I got me. I dropped me down. Okay. Got you. No worries. I got you. Anybody else that requested up that it was a mistake and I need to drop you down? I got you. That happens when people start tapping a whole lot. I appreciate the taps. Yep, Cam, that was you last week. No worries. I got you, Megan. I love it. Okay. All right. So let me just tell you. So this is what I think is interesting. It says again, the snapshot of outcomes as of December 31st, 2021 overstates Trump removals because it includes the removals of border crossers that were arrested during the Trump administration, but were removed by Biden, right? So keep in mind, these are the folks that were arrested under Trump, removed by Biden, okay? And get this. So listen to this. And it says, unfortunately, we don't have a snapshot of outcomes as of January 20th, 2021, but under another Department of Homeland Security report, it shows that as of March 31st of 2020, Trump had removed just 37% of those arrested through 18 months of fiscal years 2019 and 2020. Got you. Appreciate you. All right. So I think it's important to know this. It says overall, as of March 31st, 2020, President Trump had failed to remove 1.2 million arrested border crossers who entered during fiscal years 2017 to 2020. 1.1 million of those were still not removed as of December 2021. Thank you. Yes, Melissa, you got it. That's perfect. You got it. So, Michael, you wanna jump on in here, the boss?
How are you this morning, sis?
I am fantastic. Yeah, Susie, this will all be added to the link tree when I get done. I have some other court opinions that I need to add as well as this document.
That is a very, very, very interesting document.
Isn't it though?
It is actually we've been talking about this immigration and what happened under Biden versus Trump and open border, closed border. But that report says a whole lot that so I can't wait till you post that.
Yes.
I cannot wait till you post that. Very important.
Yes, it is. It's really important for people to know exactly what happens. Like even the end of it. So let me just tell you what the end of it says. It says these numbers highlight how difficult it was, even for the most determined administration, to expel everyone who enters illegally. This is yet another reason why it makes more sense to create policies that enable immigrants to apply to enter the country legally, which is what we have been talking about for so long, that we need to create more legal pathways to get here. Which, let me tell you, after I saw this document today, I went down a little rabbit hole. I know y'all are like, no, Danny, not you, but yes, I did. I went down a rabbit hole and I got into visas, because let me just tell you something else. What if I told you that 42% of the 11 million undocumented immigrants here, 42% are people that have overstayed their visas? Let me just let that sit with y'all for just a second. %. Did you all know it was that many? It's one of the fastest growing category of immigrants that are resulting in illegal immigrants here. Hey, chill. Do you need help, or is Bella helping you? She's just doing that. Okay. So, and that number, let me just tell you where it comes from. So, Sandy, I don't think that you understand what the word undocumented means. So, let me just say this part again. If 42% of the 11 million undocumented immigrants includes people that came by visas, then undocumented doesn't mean not documented. That's because the government sucks at being able to appropriately label things. Okay. Spring break, Doc B. So let me just give it to you. Here's what it actually means. When we say undocumented immigrants, what we mean are people that are here that are non-citizens. That's what it means. Non-citizens who are currently going through the process, right? That's what it means. So it's not that, so when we talk about undocumented immigrants, it's not like we don't know who these people are. We do know who they are. In order for them to actually be here and for us to know that there are 11 million of them, it is because they have to be vetted and they are going through the system, the due process that our laws allow, right? Green holders are, good God, green holders are people with permanent lawful status. That is someone who's already gone through the due process. That's what that means. If they have a green card, it means they have gone through the process to get that green card. Okay? We do not have 11 million people running around and we don't know who they are. That's not what we have, folks. All right?
And we never did.
And we never did. That is not a thing. No, I count them as permanent lawful residents. They are green card holders. I mean, do you oh Jesus. Okay. Yeah. Oh, there's too many people typing at the same time. Okay, so Norma, yeah, green card holders are not citizens. They are lawful permanent residents. That's what they are. Lawful permanent residents. Well, no, they're all vetted. Aylin, it's important to say this. They are all vetted. Let me say this again. They are all vetted. Not just green card holders. The folks that are seeking asylum are vetted. The folks that are applying for a withholding of removal, they are also vetted. I wanted to make sure that everybody understands this. If they are allowed to go through due process and remain here while they go through due process, they are all vetted. There is no one running around the United States of America. I won't say no one, but here's what I would tell you is that everyone that is going through our system, yes, they are vetted. Get away from each other.
Bella, sit in the other chair, please.
You guys have to stop fighting, girls. Listen, let me just say this. All of them are vetted. Yes, but Dale, before they're even allowed to go through. So I don't think people understand. There has to be a credible fear. When you apply for asylum, you have to meet a standard before you are allowed to stay here and go through the system. Okay? There's a standard that you have to meet. You have to show documentation. They have to be able to verify who you are. They have systems that even check, depending upon the country that you're coming from, right? They even check your criminal history in the country where you're coming from. Right? No, it is not a financial standard. Unlike the fact that Trump says you can now buy citizenship for X amount of money, which is just the craziest shit ever. Because there are rich criminals I would almost say that, never mind, I'm not going to say that, but they check all the things. So just so you know, I'm just saying, okay? No, green cards are they are permanent lawful residents. So I don't know what they have to do after that, but no, like they don't vote, they don't have citizenship. They are granted permission to live and work in the United States. They can apply for citizenship through naturalization, but they are not automatically citizens just because they have a green card. Okay. Yeah, Natasha, you said what I wasn't going to say. Okay. So let me just pause right there for just a second. Oh, it went away. I went to bring somebody in here. Yeah. So listen, folks, they all pay their taxes. They all do. The undocumented immigrants that are here and they are going through the system and all of that stuff, and they are working, they apply for a work permit after they've been here for 6 months. And those folks also pay their local, state, and federal taxes, right? So, and let me just say this. When you talk about who receives assistance, like I have said to you all, if you are not a citizen, you do not get federal benefits. You don't get SSI, you don't get Social Security, you do not get Medicare. That is not what happens. If you get state health care, so for example, in the state of New York, they have passed legislation that if you are a working immigrant that is going through your due process and you're seeking asylum or whatever, okay, then you can purchase, notice I said purchase, Healthy New York, which is New York's Medicaid. Okay? Just so everybody understands that, right?
It's the same thing here. It's the same thing here in California.
Right. Yep. Illinois has a similar law. So states can have laws, but that is not federal assistance. It's not the same thing, right? So I think it's important that people actually know that that information. But this Cato document, when I ran across it today, really caught my attention. And here's the last paragraph of this document. Hey, Aline, it says, knowing that there is still a high likelihood of having to release migrants who enter illegally, President Biden has created some legal pathways for immigrants. So because those programs were capped at a low level, backlogs have developed. Now, let's also say that we had a massive backlog before he got there, right? And what Cato says is he should remove the caps from the legal programs, which would enable more immigrants to enter the country legally and reduce illegal immigration. Crazy, right? But there you go. That's the Cato Institute arguing for more immigrants. So by the way, could I tell you that in February of this year, we had over 51,000 visas that were granted. Did you know that? 51,000 in 1 month this year. Does that surprise anybody? That's under the Trump administration.
What? You don't say. You don't say.
I don't say. With 42% of our undocumented immigrants being people who overstayed their visas.
You don't say. I don't know if you can detect my sarcasm.
I can detect your sarcasm right there. I can. Let me see if I can pull. Y'all know I have like 2 different tabs of crap. Hold on. It's not that one. Is it this one? Yep, it's this one. Oh wait, that's my other Supreme Court document. Oh my God. Nope, that's not that one. Why do I have 20 tabs on each of these? Is this it? Ha! I got it. Say it again. Okay, yes. I can tell you what the number is again. Okay, so while traveling down this rabbit hole today, no, Sandra, there's a process for that. There's a process for that. So her question, so Sandra's question was, if a person is a citizen in another country and if they marry an American, can they automatically become an American citizen? And the answer is no. There's a process they go through that. That's why, like, what is it? 90 days? Ain't that the K-1 visa thing, y'all? So there's a reality show about this whole thing. There's a whole bunch of TV shows about this very thing where 90 days. Thank you. See, yeah. So Mr. Bobby goes. So yeah. So no K-1 visas and a 130 form. Yeah, that's it. So that's the deal. It's 90 Day Fiance. That's the show. Yes. Thank you. See, y'all got my back. I love it. And then they have to go through a whole process, get a green card, and then all of the things. So yes. So no, they don't just become citizens. And it takes a long time, right? So Jean over here says that it took her daughter-in-law 10 years. Yeah, it takes a while, folks. So let me just tell you. So what I did was I went down and I saw this. So I am on the travel.state.gov website, right? And I'm under the visa statistics, okay? And when you're under the visa statistics, you can pull them up by report of office for certain years, but you can also go to this great resource called the Monthly Immigrant Visa Issuance Statistics, right? And it will actually tell you how many people have been getting visas, granted visas, and it even puts what country they're from, and it even puts what kind of visa they have been given. And I went through and started pulling up just a few of them. So to give you an idea, there's 100. There was an IR5, which I looked it up, and that's called an immediate relative visa. And the numbers at the end denote what kind of immediate relative it is, right? There's a DV, which I found this one absolutely hilarious. Okay, so let me just first say that how many of you guys have ever heard of the green card lottery? How many of you guys have heard of the green card lottery? Y'all ever heard of that before? The green card lottery? Yep. Okay, great. Do you know what another name for it is? What its actual proper name is? Can I tell y'all so y'all can all chuckle? So the green card lottery is a specific type of visa, okay? And let me tell you what the official name for it is. The official name for it is the diversity immigrant visa.
Diversity in.
When I read it today, I said, "You can't make this shit up." It is literally called the diversity immigrant visa. Because I was like, "What is a DV visa?" Because I was going through here. So listen, there's a GV visa. So there's GV1, GV2, GV3, right? So GV visas are government employees. So if you are a citizen of another country and you worked for the American government in that country, then you can apply for a visa to come to the United States. So that's called a GV visa, right? And IR is an immediate relative, right? And then so when I saw DV, I said, "What the hell's a DV?" And it said it is a diversity immigrant visa, otherwise known as the green card lottery. You can't make it up.
They probably haven't even seen it. That's the funny part.
It probably not, because let me just tell y'all something. When you look at this, so let me just tell y'all, there were, hold on, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. There were 12 different classes, okay? There were 12 different classes of immigrant visas issued for people in San Salvador in February of 2025. And that number totaled, let me just add it up for you real quick, because I love to give y'all the actual facts. $1,056. So there were 1,056 immigrant visas issued in February of 2025 to people in San Salvador. And what I can tell you is that, oh my gosh, how many is that? That's around, I'm going to guesstimate here, right around 600 or so were immediate relative visas. The FXs, there were 219 of those, and that is a family second preference. And then there's like F2, F3, F whatever. Yep, those are all family whatevers. And there were several hundred of those. And then there were GVs that were issued, and there were 7 of those. So, and that's just San Salvador, folks. And that's why when you scroll to the bottom of this document, there were 51,058 visas, immigrant visas, that were issued February of this year under the Trump administration. And they are from all kinds of places. They are, you got Tokyo, Tirana, Tashkent, Sydney, Stockholm, Singapore, Seoul, Korea, Santo Domingo, San Salvador, like, yeah. So just saying. So here's what's interesting is on here, I did not see, just at a quick glance, I didn't see any H1s on here. And I don't know if they were reported a different, oh, I see an RH1. I see an RH1. But anyway, so. Oh, I'm on the government's website. Yeah, so I am at, it's travel.state.gov. And then it's under legal resources, U.S. visa law and policy, and then I'm under visa statistics. So what I will do is I will put the link straight to this page in the link tree so that you all can get there as well. And you can take a look, right? Because you could 100% go in here and look to see what was issued. Yeah, baby.
This is my outfit, and the last name was Princess O'Quince.
Very cute. Love it.
Does that one have a report from March? Or you just talking about January, February?
It doesn't have a report from March yet. And I think that's because this is just April, right? So it takes them a while to get all of the data in and then get it put up. But yeah, so no, but I pulled up the most recent monthly one, which was February of 2025. Yeah.
Issuance by post and visa class, correct?
Yeah, you can have, so this one is specifically, the monthly report is by post, but it lists the visa class as well. Yep. And so now when you look at the annual ones, which 2024's is not ready yet. What's up, Goldie? When you look at the annual one, the last one is 2023. And when you click that, it's huge. So there's a bunch of different statistical tables. You can look at immigrant and non-immigrant visas issued at foreign post fiscal years 2019 through 2023. You can look at classes of immigrant visas issued for those same years. You can look at a bunch of different information, but I just think that having the knowledge that 51,000 visas were issued in February, when that's the largest segment, that's 42%, not the largest, but it's 42% of the people that are undocumented because they are overstaying their visas.
Can you speak to the different? I know you've been talking about classes because I'm where you are now. I had no idea there were that many different types of classes on visas. Like there are. Unless am I reading this like 13 pages of different types of classes of visas?
Yeah, and they are. So there's so many. So immediate relatives, you might have spouse of a citizen, but then there's also spouse of a citizen that is conditional. So spouse of a citizen that is conditional means they might live in a country where they can't come, right? So there are some countries where you can't get a visa no matter what. But these are like, so there's a lot. There's child of a U.S. citizen, child of a U.S. citizen conditional. There's orphan adopted abroad by U.S. There's child adopted abroad by U.S. citizen under the Hague Convention. There's orphan to be adopted in the U.S. by a U.S. citizen, child to be adopted by a U.S. citizen in the U.S. under Hague Convention. There's parent of a U.S. citizen that is at least 21 years old. There are certain widow or widowers and children of certain widowers of U.S. citizens. And that's just the immediate relative,
Yes.
right? There is, good gosh, you guys, there are so many. There are lots of them, but but here's what's important for people to know is that even with all of that, we still do not have enough legal pathways. That's the thing, guys, is we still don't have enough legal pathways for people that are getting here, because if they're not coming here for a specific job with a company, right, then the H-1B visa doesn't apply. Yeah, we hurt the most, Tam, when it comes to judges. And it's very overcomplicated, which is like government bureaucracy, right? So I think it's important for people to know that. And you can look at like the numbers are from, so the grand total of visas that were issued in 2019 were 462,422. Okay. I want to pull up a different one. Give me 1 second. I need to pull up. Yeah. So the number of visas that were issued in 2020, of course, we had COVID, right? So that's 240,526. 2021, 285,069. In 2022, 493,448. 2023, 562,976, right? So that's how many visas are being issued. And I think it's important. So we obviously have an issue that we want these legal pathways. And we also know that 42% of the undocumented immigrants that are here in the country, that's part of that 11 million number, those are people who came here on a visa and are overstaying. Melania did it, right? Elon did it. A bunch of them have done it.
So, Danny, so there's on those two reports, there's some that say place of birth in visa class, and the other one says post in visa class.
Mm-hmm.
What's but the number at the bottom is the same. What's the difference?
It's probably nothing, but they report it both ways, because there may be like place of birth. Typically, people are applying for the visa in their place of birth, right? But there may be a time where the place of birth and the post could be different. But I would imagine that it's probably the same.
So in the first 2 months of this year, they've granted over 100,000 visas.
Yes.
Which is more people that's more than people that have been deported by far.
Well, I don't know. We did what, 100,000 Venezuelans?
Well, yes. Yeah. So they say. And I don't know. Listen,
So they say.
And if we said legal deportation, I don't think we know that, because we don't know how many were actually legal, because they won't share the information, right? So the lottery is okay. So listen, y'all, I need y'all to hear me when I say this. I am literally reading, and Michael's on the site where I'm on here too. So he will be able to tell you that I am looking at the February numbers. Okay. And in those February numbers, there are DV visas. So Abu Dhabi, there were 109 visas, DV visas, which are green card lottery visas given out in February of 2025 to 109 people in Abu Dhabi. And that's known as the green card lottery. So that is on here. It's one of the reasons why I found out what it was, because I was like, what are these 109? What is that? Appreciate you, Red Hot. Thanks for reminding me. So it's important for people to understand exactly what these are, and to understand that not every lottery is the same. All right. Red Hot, it's reset. Okay. But when I go, so like here I am, I'm in, I hope I'm saying this right, Addis Ababa. There were 278 DV visas that were given out in February of 2025. Fiscal year 2025, February 2025, 278. That is what's called the diversity immigrant visa
also known as the green card lottery. There were 2 given to AIT to pay. There were 279 given to people in Algiers. There were 132 for people in Almaty, right? I'm just telling y'all, I'm reading the numbers, right?
And I'm just giving them the reference that you're looking at.
Thank you. I appreciate that, the boss. Okay. So I just want people to understand. And the reason why I'm taking the time to talk to you about visa numbers is because everybody's pissed off about the number of undocumented immigrants that are here. And you need to understand that 42% of those people that are here, that are here illegally, are people who came here on visa and are overstaying their visas. So stop blaming everybody that comes across the damn southern border. Okay? It's just really important that people understand that and how it works. Okay? So there was another one that I wanted to show you all. So I also was looking at, I have so many things pulled up right now. So many.
I know you do.
I know, it's insane.
I have Excel versions of these docs, so I'm going to pull them down and sort them by visa type.
Yep, appreciate you. They sure do have Excel versions, correct. So I wanted to pull up one other document for you. So it's the Center for Migration Studies, okay? So this is the document that I was telling you all that talks about the fact that there are 10.9 million undocumented immigrants. Undocumented not meaning that we don't know who they are, that we don't have documents on them. That's not what it is. That is not what it is. And that 10.9 million of those people, 42% of them are people in the country who have overstayed their visas, not people who have entered through the U.S.-Mexico border, okay? Now, get this. While the number of undocumented people in the country increased by 650,000 between 2020 and 2022, guess what? Other undocumented individuals and families, especially those from Mexico and Asian countries, have been leaving the United States. So that's one of the things that they're not saying. When they tell you, oh, it increased by 650,000, they're not telling you how many hundreds of thousands also left, okay? So it's just really important for people to know that, okay? Let me just see. Okay, so let me just tell you this. Another one. So this was another claim that people heard, okay? This is another claim that people heard. Give me just a second. I'll bring some more folks up. Another assertion that we heard leading up to the election was that more than 10 million undocumented immigrants have flooded across the border during the Biden administration. Do y'all remember that? While the Trump administration had the lowest number of crossings in the United States history. Remember that? So here is the truth, actually. It's a misleading statement, right? So border crossings are called encounters when migrants are encountered by the Border Patrol and can be returned. So while there may have been X number, so I'll give you an example. According to DHS, over 4 million of migrants encountered have been returned. And 20 to 25% of the people encountered are repeat offenders. So if 1/4 of the people who are being encountered are repeat offenders, that makes a hell of a lot of difference if you say there's 10 million. Does it not make a difference? That means 3 million of them are the same damn people, just trying it more than once. But it sounds much scarier to say 10 million, doesn't it? Yeah. So listen to this. The asylum seekers who have been released into the country lawfully have been vetted and processed by DHS, and they have been given notice to appear for court proceedings. No, not catch and release. That's not what we're talking about, because we're specifically speaking about the Biden administration. So I just need for people to kind of understand what we're talking about. Okay. Now, here's something else that's really funny. Annual apprehensions at the border increased 15% under Donald Trump until the border was closed under Title 42, which is the health emergency because of COVID in 2020. So, under Donald Trump, annual apprehensions at the border increased by 15%. And we already know they released more of them into the country than the Biden administration did. So anyway, I'm going to give you, because this is a longer document, but I'm going to give you all of this, and I'm going to put it into the link tree so that everybody has it and you have the information. Okay. So what I'm going to do real quick, the boss, you stay where you are. I'm going to bring a couple of more people up here so that we can continue having the conversation. When I bring you up, please do me a favor, put yourself on mute until I can get to you. Okay. So give me a second and let me get some folks in here. Whew. Okay.
Oh, I didn't.
You didn't mean to? I got you. I can drop you down.
No, I didn't.
I got you. See, this happens sometimes. People are like, oh, wait, that's not what I wanted to do. I got you. No worries. No worries. It is okay. What do I need to? I need to do. It ain't gonna let me. And I'm just gonna say okay, and I'm not gonna care in a minute. Ha, there we go. Look at that. I did it.
Morning, Edith. I see Edith down there. Morning, Edith.
Okay, awesome. What's up, Miss Natasha? No.
Hey there, Queen.
How you doing? I am fantastic. How are you?
Slowly getting over this election.
Okay.
This administration, I'm over it. But I do have a question, because I've been to Africa several times, usually Kenya, and I'm asking because I don't want to go over there and get stuck. And help with me and come back. But I've gone on goodwill missions to Kenya, Johannesburg, never needed a visa. I'm taking a group of kids in July to Ghana because the company that I'm doing this with has sponsored 2 schools there. But now they're requesting us to have a visa.
Yes, ma'am.
Is that because of the current administration? Because I've never had to get one before.
So they have, yes. So let me just tell you. So I posted this. I posted this on one of my social medias the other day. But yes, no, they said, no, requiring visas. Yeah. So I wanted to see the statement on it but yes, the answer is yes. And they were like, fine, people want to be like this. This is what we're going to do. But let me see. There was something, I forget when I posted it, but it was, all U.S. citizens will need to apply for a visa to honor Ghana. So yeah, that's the real deal now. And it's specifically for American citizens. It might not be for everybody else, but it is for us.
So do you think there's any connection with the migration of Black Americans moving to Ghana permanently or conducting businesses there? Do you think there's a direct response to that migration?
No, my understanding is that it was because of the way that the current administration was doing people here. But let me just see real quick. Yeah, so this goes back a little bit, but give me 1 second.
So let me ask you this while you're looking. So if our stay is 3 weeks, should I do the visa for 4 weeks so that we, just in case we extend it for whatever reason, we extend our time?
I would
Should we do that on the front end?
I would give yourself some leeway. And I don't know if a week is the right amount of time. You might want to contact I don't know, maybe the US embassy over there or an immigration just I would ask somebody who knows, but would I give myself some cushion? Absolutely. I would.
Okay.
Yes.
And we have to get it through the Ghana embassy anyway. So okay.
Yep, that's what I would 100% be doing. Because they're not playing. Give yourself a buffer. But yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Making me a little nervous because I am taking some young people, but it is what it is.
Yeah, see, girl, it would make me nervous too. It would make me nervous too. And see with me, with this coloring right here, they never know what I am.
I know. My aunt, the company, she works for Boeing in Arizona, and she looks like you. She's your complexion.
Mm-hmm.
And just so happened that she was going to do something with her birth certificate that she had it in her purse. ICE came into her company where she worked.
See?
And rounded up people, and they tried to round her up too, girl.
See?
She had to prove that she was an American citizen.
And some of the people who are giving paperwork are still being detained. Yes. A guy that last week or so he was detained for 20. He spent 24 hours in jail. Yeah.
It's serious. It's getting serious.
Mm-hmm.
And then it's sad because, especially because she worked with a lot of Hispanics and Asian and Filipino co-workers,
mm-hmm.
and 50 to 62% of them voted for him.
Yes.
And now they're running scared.
As they should be. As they should be. Black Power says you were detained in London. Yeah. So this is my thing. I think that everybody needs to really understand. Like for me, I'm not trying to go until I'm trying to be gone for good. Good. Like legit. And so like that's my thought process. I'm not going in anybody's international airport until I'm ready to not come back. So like just 100%, you know what I mean? I think that's people need to understand that we are in different times. It's like I said, I don't think that you were in here when I first said this, Natasha, but what we need to understand is that when you pick up a citizen, a non-citizen, but who is here legally and has a legal status, like Abrego Garcia, right? And then you take that individual, right, to Louisiana, then to Texas, and then to another country, and then you pay that country to keep them, right? You are engaged in human trafficking. And we need to understand that the United States of America is committing an international crime, period. And, if the Democratic Party really wanted to call the administration and the GOP folks bluff, they would simply join the ICC and make it happen.
I must say I was glad to see him because I couldn't, and I've been in prayer about this until I saw him the other day on TV because I thought they unalived him.
I'm not sure if they had unalived him or not, but here's my thing. I think A, he was wearing a ball cap, so you can't see his head is shaved. I think B, they gave you fake images of them with margaritas, which didn't happen. I think C, I don't know that everything that he said at that moment was the absolute truth because after Van Hollen left, he's still there. So I don't know what all he could or couldn't say because he is still at their mercy when that senator leaves, right? So I think that people need to really understand we saw him. We know he's alive, but that is all we damn know because I don't know just how much he could actually say without suffering consequences once Senator Van Hollen left. And I think that people forget that part. People are like, oh, well, he looks great. And he's wearing, a little button-up shirt and da-da-da-da-da. And listen, that doesn't mean a thing. It doesn't
He could be buttoned up, hiding stars. We don't know.
exactly.
He didn't button up to his neck for that reason. We have no idea.
Right. And so that's my thing is I think that people need to really just stop and understand I'm grateful that he is alive. And that is literally all I know. That's all I know is the man is still breathing. I am grateful for that. And we still need to bring his ass home. Period. That's it. Right.
And I'm not understanding why he's not back here. I don't understand why the senator couldn't have just gone and got him. I'm
We
still
can.
confused about that.
We can. We can go get that man anytime we want to. If the Trump administration said we're coming to get him, El Salvador would be like, okay, cool. You want to know why? Because they're still paying El Salvador $15 million to house the Venezuelans that are at CCOP.
See, and that's the thing, Danny. I've not really been watching the news, but I heard that the president of Venezuela came here
He did.
without him.
Yeah,
So
he did because Trump said don't bring him. Listen, the vice president of El Salvador told Senator Van Hollen that the reason, because Senator Van Hollen asked, why are you keeping him? And he said, because the Trump administration is paying us $15 million. That's why we are keeping him, because they told us to keep him, period. And so all that has to happen is if the Trump administration wants that man brought home, they can just send somebody to go get him and bring him home. And if they want El Salvador to send him home, all they got to do is say, put him on a flight that we paid for, or we're going to stop payment on this $15 million we're giving you. That's all they got to do. The same way you want to take money away from Harvard University, you could take it away from El Salvador and they would send all of them back. You could send a plane to get them and they would come get them and bring them home. It's just that simple. They're full of shit. Yeah, what's up?
Don't you think that they're well, I mean, it's a question, I'm not pose it that way. Or let me say what I believe, and I want you're if he comes back, then one has to argue that they have to bring them all back and give them due process, because we haven't seen anything.
Correct. And that is one of the reasons why they don't want to bring him back. Now, what makes them different, let me just tell you this. What makes them different is that he does have a legal status, which maybe not all of those Venezuelans do. Okay.
Right.
So there is that distinction that could be made, but it doesn't matter because the Constitution actually says, right, that you have to have due process to every person. No person shall be denied that, right? And so, yes, this is why they are fighting it so hard, because when they lose, and they have already lost legally from the Supreme Court all the way down, they have lost. And the judge already told them. So here's the thing with the Venezuelans. They were told, turn the damn plane around. And they didn't. And that is why they have now been found in criminal contempt. Right? So,
right.
And he said, you can rectify this. And you know what you got to do to rectify it is bring them home. And if you don't rectify it, then I'm going to assess whatever the penalty is for criminal contempt up to and including criminal prosecution. And that's what the judge told him. I can refer this for criminal prosecution.
And that would be Pam Bondi.
Yeah. Well, I don't know. They may bring in a special prosecutor because Pam Bondi is the one that would be in criminal contempt.
Correct.
Yeah. Listen, here's my thing. Bring Jack Smith the fuck back. Let Jack Smith be the special prosecutor. I'm all for that. Listen. Yeah. I'm all for that. Go on over to The Hague and grab Jack, bring him back and let him do some work. But whoever it was, they would most likely have to do a special prosecutor.
And that's what Rolo, when Rolo came up, that's what Rolo was discussing, right?
Yeah.
Go ahead, Natasha. I'm sorry.
No, who would they prosecute? The president?
The administration.
If the judge has said what they said, and there's still been nothing done. So who do they prosecute?
It would be Pam, but Pam Bondi is so whoever's at the DOJ, because the judge said he would forward it to the DOJ, and if they didn't act on it, he would forward it to a federal judge of his choice. But Pam Bondi would be the one in contempt because she's supposed to follow the order.
Yes.
If the judge tells her to do whatever, she's supposed to do it, and if she doesn't, she's in contempt of that judge, and he would move it to another prosecutor. I mean, another federal court or federal judge.
Yeah.
But isn't she in Trump's pocket?
I mean, but she's part of the DOJ. She's the head of the DOJ, right? And so this is my thing. So we can count on her ass. I'm looking forward to it. I hope she ignores it. I am ready. Please don't clean it up. Please don't clean it up, because I am so ready for them to go get a special prosecutor and light their asses up. I'm ready.
And she can be disbarred too, though.
Yes, she can be disbarred. Absolutely. The same way Sidney Powell, the same way John Eastman, the same way Kenneth Chesbrough, the same way Rudy Giuliani. All of them don't have law licenses no more. Take hers too. Take hers too. Anybody that is violating the oath they took when they became a lawyer, take it. They don't deserve to practice law.
Every attorney that's been around and finds themselves in this predicament, and some way, somehow, right? I mean, the majority of those that have been licensed to uphold the law and constitution around him, they end up being the brunt of whether they lose their license, they get indicted, and she's flirting with that right now.
Yep, she is.
It's going to be interesting to see if she puts her career on the line, because that's what she's talking about right now.
So I'm going to tell you, when you look at, and this is just my personal opinion, when those other attorneys went to court and the judge said, well, why did you pick him up? Why did y'all pick him up? Why didn't they do this? Listen, then them lawyers said, I don't know. That information was not given to me. Yes, we can see that he was picked up in error. Yes, we can see. I believe that those attorneys knew this might cost me my job in terms of the DOJ, and they did get fired. They did. But I think they were like, I don't give a shit. I can get fired and still have my law license and practice somewhere else, right? People have now seen that after we went through everything with January 6th and those trials where people claimed fraud where fraud did not exist, and all of those attorneys got reprimanded and got their hands smacked and all of those things, and some of them lost their line licenses, that's it. And so I'm excited about the fact that y'all keep lying. Because here's the thing. I truly believe this. I believe, here's the difference. Trump might have a bigger ego than some of the federal judges and Supreme Court justices, right? What he doesn't have is the legal mechanisms and the legal power that they do. That's what he doesn't have. He don't have a damn leg to stand on. He was just elected. That's it. And if Congress determines to impeach him, if those judges determine that what he's doing, because here's the thing. So I mean, what's the matter? Oh, you need a charger? She said Bella won't let me use the charger, and Bella said, well, I'm only on 9%. Here, Grammy's got one for you. Go get the one from Grammy so that my phone don't die.
Well, Debbie, a part of that, you remember
Here, I'll get it.
When the courts
That one that's right there.
The DOJ for the records for the people that were before, and they said no because it was a matter of national security.
Mm-hmm.
So they've already refused to turn over all of these people that were deported their files.
Yep.
They've already used the Aliens Act. Now the court has said they paused that.
Yep.
I mean, there are just so many things that they have to account for by their own doing.
Yes. So let me tell you something that I think is important, Michael. So one of the things that the vice president of Venezuela told Van Hollen was that that they were being held. The $15 million is to hold them for 1 year until their status is reevaluated. So here's what I believe. I believe that the Trump administration did this knowing they were going to get their ass kicked in court and it was going to take a while to get through the system. But they're only doing it to achieve kind of the rest of whatever their stuff is. Do you understand what I'm saying?
Yep.
They know good and damn well they might have to turn around and bring them back. But if they can cause as much havoc as they possibly can in the beginning and overwhelm people, then people they'll quit fighting. And maybe other people will be happy enough because at least Trump did what he said he was going to do. And they also know that most people will not follow these court cases to realizing they are getting their ass handed to them with every decision. Every decision they are losing. every single one. And so I think that it's important. Now, here's the thing, just like everything else, folks, people are suffering while they play shenanigans, right? People are suffering hands down while they play shenanigans with the Department of Education, with potentially your Medicaid, with all of these different things. People are suffering, right? And so that is why everybody has to be about the business of doing the work, because it's not okay for it to be this way. It's not okay. Somebody said Gail had a question and I missed the question. If Congress is supposed to allocate the money and didn't, where did the money? So Gail, that's an answer that we don't have. And let me just say this. I don't even know that El Salvador has gotten no $15 million yet. If I know Donald Trump, his ass gave them a down payment on some $15 million. I'm just saying he probably got Elon to cut a check for $1 million. I'm just speculating. But let me just say this. Y'all know as well as I know that Donald Trump don't pay people. He don't be giving them the money he's supposed to give. So no one should be surprised by this. Okay. So let me do me.
My concern is, Venezuela is a dictatorship. And my concern is that this young man's life may be in danger if Dum Dum, I can't call his name, it makes me sick, don't pay them. I mean, I'll be concerned for that young man's.
Well, so here's what I would say about a couple of different things, okay? And folks, while I bring, there's some folks that are requesting up. I'm gonna bring you up. Do me a favor, put yourself on mute until I get to you, please. So here's what I would say about that. I think that if Venezuela is smart, that is not the way that you get back at Donald Trump, because he don't give a shit about them people, no way. Follow me? So listen, Donald Trump does not care if he were to hurt any of them, okay? But so let me just tell you this. If Venezuela wants to be, to get back at the Trump administration, then all they do is release all the communication about how this came to be. All they do is make it public, what they were promised, what they said, all of those things, right? If Venezuela, that's like real talk, that's all they got to do is to tell them what was said, what they were told to do to people, like release what has or hasn't happened to them, prisoners already, release pictures of those folks when they got them. Like if Venezuela wants to really get back at the Trump administration, that's what you do.
But they know they have that. They know they have that.
El Salvador. Right. I'm sorry, Carol. El Salvador. Jesus, I said Venezuela. El Salvador. Sorry.
And let me say this, and you can knock me down in the comments. I love you, Michael, too. And I love you, Daddy. But let me say this. I read Project 25. You said something earlier about comprehension. The Medicaid, the social, the taking from Medicaid, Medicare, social, food stamp, that's all in there.
All of it is.
The whole 922 pages. He is, and I do believe Dum Dum is a puppet. I know that's disrespectful.
He is.
The young man on TikTok called him Wig. Is Wig a better terminology?
I don't care.
Because his name makes me ill. Okay, but he is a puppet. Because we know he ain't got the good sense the God gave a goose. So we know that he's just a man. That's why Elon has so much power right now.
Why you got my mama over here cracking up? You got my mama over here cracking up. She done started coughing.
Tell her hi. I'm just saying that. I'm just on family, focusing on other things, because this is what America, and it's laid out. Everything is doing is laid out in Project 2025. And if you didn't go with the concept, what did Maya say? If somebody show you who they are,
believe them. Yep.
What he's been talking about, and all through his campaign, all the things, is coming to pass. So why are we surprised? You have all these people who voted for him and suffering regret. I feel no sympathy. Heck no, I didn't show up April 5th. Ain't my fight. I'm done.
I hear you.
And me and you you made a comment about, and I want to tell you, I understand what you're saying,
Mm-hmm.
but I'm fighting, but my fight is different.
Right, and this is the point.
Because before I would have been.
Yeah, so this is the point. The point is not necessarily you have to be in the street with everybody else. That's not the point. But the point is, so what was happening with people? Let me say this: is there were these videos going around TikTok of they were specifically saying, "Oh, 1 million people are going to be in the streets on April 5th," and in the video, the black women were getting up, and then they were like, "Girls, sit down. This is not your fight." And my problem with that is, it is your damn fight. You don't have to be in the street on April 5th or April 19th or whatever, but you better be doing the damn work because it is your fight. Nobody can check out right now. Nobody has that luxury. And that was my issue with that bullshit. Nah.
Hey, I feel the same way, Daddy. There's a hole in the boat. There's a hole in the boat, and we're in the boat. You just gonna stop bailing. You can stop trying to get water out the boat if you want to, but it's just gonna sink. So regardless if you're tired of pulling water out the boat, and it is what it is because it's a hole in the boat, and we got to keep doing what we got to do to keep it up. It's just you don't have to like it.
Yeah,
you don't have to like it.
And that's just the way I feel. Go ahead.
Okay, the boss, and again, I know you have people on here that's wanting to speak. Danny, I guess I'm older, much older, probably much older than both of you. I know I'm much older than Danny. So I've been in this fight a long time. The Million Man March, the Million Women March, the BLM March. I was there. The fight against drug, frontline, front and center. Good portion of my life.
Mm-hmm.
Gay rights, all that, been front and center. So America broke my heart. It truly, I was truly down. I've just been back, just scanning since me and you had that. You said that because I was over it. I was not watching news, just over it. But my grandbaby brought me to my senses and told me, Nanny, you still have work to do. Because this world is looking bleak for us, And so she woke me up, all of 9 years old, right? And so but I'm in is it called self-preservation? Because I don't think we can fix this, America. It's not on us to fix. It's not on me to fix. It's not part of the 92% to fix. We can't fix it.
I don't think that that's what I'm saying. Matter of fact, okay. I'm not saying the 92% can fix it. What I'm saying is that the 92% can't afford to check out either.
Okay.
That's what I'm saying. You can't afford to check out. And so this is my thing. Because the 92% understands full well that it is our children and our children's children that hurt the worst and the fastest, period. Right? And so that being the case, we can't offend. Okay, hold on, because I set up on my mama's news alerts, and so she didn't come over here with a news alert for me. So so this just happened 5 minutes ago. This is an exclusive from NPR. She over here about to do a damn dance, and it says exclusive. The White House is looking to replace Pete Hegseth as defense secretary. And it says the White House has begun the process of looking for a new secretary of defense, according to a U.S. official who was not authorized to speak publicly. You heard her giggle. I know y'all did. This comes as Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth continues to find himself mired in controversy. NPR has also confirmed with the same official that Hegseth shared details ahead of last month's Yemen strikes with his wife and brother in a Signal chat on his personal phone minutes after being updated by a senior U.S. military official. The news of the second Signal chat about the mission was first reported by the New York Times. In March, Hegseth shared details about action against Houthi targets in Yemen in a signal chat with top White House officials that accidentally included a journalist. In the last few weeks, 4 senior advisors to Hegseth have left abruptly, some accused of leaking. They have all released public statements suggesting infighting within the Department of Defense. White House Press Secretary Caroline Leavitt denied that there's an effort to replace Hegseth, posting on X that President Trump, quote unquote, stands strongly behind him. Then it says this breaking story will be updated. So there you go. Now, let me just say this. If, in fact, they do replace Pete Hegseth, that will be the first cookie to crumble and the first of many. Because that will be the first real crack in the armor of their plan. And what they best worry about is that boy having one sip too many and telling every damn thing. They best worry about that boy having one sip too many and them lips becoming so loose that he tell everything. Because we already see he's a gossip. We already see he can't keep, listen, if you can't keep national secrets while you in a national secret office, you're not going to keep them when you're sitting at home.
Could he be indicted?
Hell yes.
So, and where would his protections come from at that point?
No, not from them. Listen, let him start. Somebody said, let him start a signal chat with all the press. Oh, Lord, me. Carolyn, you want to jump in here? Yeah, he ain't gonna have no pardon from Dum Dum. Dum Dum, by the time. Go ahead, Carolyn. What you got?
I'm sorry. Miss Danny, I just want to say I love your live. Hi, Michael. Hi, Natasha. I really
Thank you.
appreciate everything you do, baby. You stay on top of your game, and I get it, and I love it.
Appreciate it.
But
Thank you.
as far as the Garcia thing, there are 4 senators today that are flying over. I can't remember all their names because I just caught it at a glance on the news, but there are 4 senators flying over today on their dollar that are going to meet with national security in El Salvador today. And I agree with all of y'all when y'all say that Garcia was probably covering up, which, that was a photo opportunity with Senator Holman. I mean, that was completely a cover-up. That man was in regular gear and a hat, and no, they weren't drinking margaritas. I guarantee you that. So that was a complete cover-up.
Yeah, so these are, let me just tell you, it is 4 House Democratic lawmakers have traveled to El Salvador to call attention to the plight of Abrego Garcia.
I'm sorry, I said senators.
That's okay. It's Reps Ansari of Arizona, Maxine Dexter of Oregon, Maxwell Frost of Florida, and Robert Garcia of California. Now, let me tell you what is not in this article. And this is the thing that needs to be everywhere. If, in fact, they have gone on their own dollar, that needs to be in every article that is about this. Because here's what will happen. If they do not put it out that it is on their own dollar, people will get pissed. Because one man now has 5 different members of Congress that have traveled to El Salvador on his behalf, and there are millions of other constituents that need their assistance. And so they will see this as a media thing to get attention, it'll be another ploy by Dems. So what they need to do is be very, very vocal about the fact that they did this on their own dime, and if that is the case. So I'm going to keep looking to see if it's on their own dime.
From
hold on.
the news report that I saw, it was on their own dime.
Do you know who it was with?
I would have to go back and look that up. And I'm old, baby. I'm a grandma.
I'm a grandmama too.
I'm not good on. I'm not very tech savvy. My kids have to help me with stuff, but But if I do find it, I will send that to you.
Yeah.
But
Oh, here it is. Wait.
But I don't trust the mainstream media to report anything because I think Dump has his hands in controlling our mainstream media. And I just, but I did want to share that with you that the House reps are going over there, and supposedly, from what I understand, it's on their own dime. They're not using taxpayer money.
So apparently James Comer said, quote, if you wish to meet with him, you can spend your own money, because the GOP would not finance it. And so apparently it says in a joint statement, which I need to see their statement. Hold on a second. Here I go, y'all. Done a joint statement. Hold on, y'all. No, these are 4 Democratic lawmakers. Okay, so here it is. I'm on Axios.
Do you have the letter? I have the letter.
Yep. Get that down out of my face, please. It just came up in my face. So, hold on a second.
And
Where is
as far
that?
as Hag said, I don't believe he can hold water. So
He can't.
He can't hold water. So it's just a matter of time before he comes out and starts spewing his mess.
You have their joint statement, Michael?
I have the letter that Comer.
No, that I have. I'm looking for their joint statement, because what I have is it being quoted, and it's being quoted by Axios, so I feel confident in it. But it says the 4 Democratic lawmakers' office said in a joint statement that their trip, quote, is not being financed by taxpayer dollars.
Yeah, that's what I heard, that it's not being funded by taxpayer dollars, that they're doing it on their own dime.
Yeah.
So,
yeah, that's what it says. Joint. I want the whole damn statement though, because that's just how I am. I want the whole thing, not like one quote from it. I really want the whole thing.
And then another thing that I wanted to touch on too, when people are saying, what really caps me and it drives me crazy is that people are like, well, I didn't vote for either one of the fence riders or, the non-voters. Well, I didn't vote for neither one of them. Look,
for who?
This is everybody talking about presidential candidates. This is everybody's fight. This man is destroying not only our country, our democracy, the Constitution, and the economic growth of this country, but he is destroying, he has alienated us, and this is everybody's fight. And the reason, and then another thing that makes me so angry is if he's going after brown people or Hispanic people, Latinos, who do you think he's coming for next? It's us. Who do you think he's coming for next? Who next?
Let me say this. They always been coming for us. They just been doing it with the for-profit prison system. So let me be clear. They've been coming for us throughout history. That ain't never changed. That ain't never changed.
But I'm saying, as far as what he's doing to these people, who do you think he's gonna start chipping off next?
Yeah. Oh,
It's Karen.
we already know. But so
Maybe,
yes, ma'am.
and maybe I'm confused about the process. What's next? Because we fought the good fight.
Mm-hmm.
What can we do?
So again,
As people of color,
yes.
what can we do from this point on? Besides the midterm elections and our local stuff, which is what I'm doing anyway.
Right.
My frustration is real. Tell me, you say not sit back, and I haven't. But what do we do? And what do I tell people who are disheartened
Yep.
about the whole process? How do we go? How do we move forward?
Yeah. So one of the things that I say to people that are disheartened is that I validate the fact that being disheartened is okay and it's appropriate and justified. I'm never going to tell anybody that feeling disheartened is inappropriate, because it's not, right? It's not. Everybody, you have a right to feel the way you feel. Gotcha. And it's justified, right? And we can't stay in our feelings because feelings are fickle and they're temporary and they don't do anything, right? So one of the things that I personally think would be ridiculously powerful is to have so like my aunt who is 79, 80 years old. And I will never forget when Joe Biden dropped out and she told me that she cried for 3 days. And she said to me, she said, "You just don't understand how mean white men can be." She was terrified. She said, "You just don't know how mean white men can be." So, what one of the things that I think would be powerful would be for the boomers who lived in that generation, who experienced segregation, and for the interracial couples, right? The white men that married black women and the black men that married white women, all of that. I believe that it would be really powerful for that group of people to be doing TikTok videos and Facebook reels telling that truth. Like you said to me, you said, "America broke my heart." That is a powerful thing, right? And then you pen that in a letter to the editor and you send it to your local media, to your state media, to your national media. You send it to your elected representatives, right? Those stories now make it real, they make it personal so people can see exactly what you've endured, right? And exactly what we don't want to go back to. Those things would be uber powerful, in my opinion, because now you're putting a face to it, right? And I know I see you getting emotional, but this is what I'm saying is because then it becomes real for people. The other thing that I would say is like when I have people who talk to me about I would die without Medicaid. I think that those folks living in the inner cities and in small towns and rural communities, and you have cancer or you have HIV or you have AIDS, and you depend on those programs, and we see those programs would be done away with this new HHS quote unquote restructuring. I think that those people go interview your papa and your mama. Go talk about the realities of the life that you live in. I think that every parent that has a child with a 504 and an IEP needs to be doing a video that includes their child and be talking about what that special education teacher does for that child and how necessary it is for them to have access to good public education. When I talk about what we need to do is we need to make it not about these abstract things, but to make it be real. And the way you make it real is that you use people's faces, right? That's what I would do. You guys, you don't need your representatives to hold a town hall. You could get together, you could get to 10 people that you know that are your age, right? You could write all of your representatives, your local and your state representatives, and ask them to come to your meeting. You can send out, you can plan it 3 weeks to 30 days in advance. Hear what I'm saying? Let's just say, Natasha Brown, it's you and 5 to 9 other people, okay? And you put together this town hall. I don't care if you do it in a high school auditorium or it's nice and you do it in a public park outside, right? And you put it out in your community that you want the community to come together to I might call it a listening session with the elders, right? Or whatever I might call it. I would call it something. And then I would put out a press release to all my local press that this is what we're having and we're doing it in response to the changes that we see in this country. And I would invite all of my mayor, my city council members, my county commissioners, all of those people, fireside chat, all the things, Mr. Barrios, yes. And I would invite all the press and I would have every single one of you tell your story. And then it would be important because guess what? If you invited those representatives and they didn't show to listen to the elderly community, that's a stain on them. And that speaks volumes, right? I would surround myself, right, of fireside chat with the elders, whatever it is. And I would have my grandbabies there and I would have I sure would every bit of it. That is something that you can do. And that is something that puts a face to things. It makes it personal and it makes And then it puts it all in the laps of your elected officials. These are things. It's not just about marching.
You mean do that again? Because
Hold on a second, Carolyn. Go ahead, Natasha.
you mean do that again? Because we did that for Juneteenth. A group of us old folks did that for Juneteenth, and we invited the senator, and some of them came. We invited our state representatives.
But we weren't facing what we're facing now. We're not in the same place we were on June 19th.
No, we're not.
No, and so that's what it's got to be, though. And then it can't be tied to the holiday. It has to be tied to what the Trump administration is doing. It has to be tied to what's happening now, the pieces of legislation that are being proposed. 100%.
God sent me here for a reason today.
Okay. I know you are. But those are the things. Every single one of you all could be getting on the phone or hopping on a Zoom or FaceTiming, right? And you could be interviewing your papas and your grandmas and big mama and auntie, right? You all could 100% be doing that and then getting permission and posting it on your social media, and use the hashtag wisdom from the elders. Use the hashtag, right? Stories from experience. Use the hashtags lessons already learned.
Right to the Supreme Court justices.
100%.
Because even though Dump, that's what I call him, even though he thinks he's the law of the land, he is not.
Nope.
He is not. No matter how much he wants to be, he is not.
Nope.
And I can't wait to watch that man get drugged across the coast.
Yeah, so, and y'all got my mama over here laughing again. Listen, I done told y'all she can't stand Donald Trump. My mama cannot stand no damn Donald Trump. So whenever you talk about but we have talked 100% about writing the Supreme Court. We have talked about that, period, because that is how you let your voice be heard.
100%. Well, and Daddy, and here's the thing, and this is for everyone listening, Natasha. Think about, I'm going to use this as an example. Think about what's happening with Pete Hegseth right now. That's happening because it's public.
Yes.
Because people are watching, and not just here, across the globe. Think about China's strategies on tariffs, how they're targeting red states. Good, bad, or indifferent. That message is saying they see what's going on here.
Yep.
Right? We have to do what Danny said and put it out there, because the world is watching. The world will pick up stories like that. Because
yes.
Here's the thing. The one thing he does not, he being the orange guy, he doesn't want to look like this with other world leaders.
Mm-hmm.
Other world leaders are watching and seeing these things unfold. You know it has to be bad if they're talking about replacing Pete. Right. So the work that's happening, keeping these stories out there, building these local stories, putting them out there on your social platforms, that stuff works. It absolutely 100% works. People are getting educated on the Supreme Court and how the Supreme Court works through this adversity.
And the thing is so this is what I particularly love to. So I'm going to tell y'all the case that I won against the white guy that was threatening me and threatening to torture me and torture my mom and calling me the N-word and a half-breed and a Heinz 57 dog and all of that stuff and telling me to shut my mouth and not talk about this. Yeah, not talk about this county commissioner. All of this happened back in 2020, and I was being threatened because I was calling out a county commissioner for putting up white supremacist stuff. Anyway, so here's what I did. I took all of those threats and I printed all of them out and I highlighted them. And then I went to, all right, the boss. And then I went to, because I was in Tennessee, which is where I'm from. And then I went to the Tennessee, what am I trying to say? I went and looked at Tennessee law for civil rights intimidation. And I included the law. And then I highlighted the parts of his communication that violated the law, right? And then, no worries, Carla. And I did the same thing for harassment. So when then what I did, when I took all of that together, I put all of that in a document and I included the daggone legal citations in the document. And then I called the DA's office and then emailed it all to him. Right. So you can't tell me I don't know. I already know the law. And so then he said, well, I'd have to send it before a grand jury. Now, do I know he didn't need to go before a grand jury? Hell yeah, I knew that. But what I also knew is he didn't want to have to indict this white man on his own. So I traveled back and went to this grand jury, and they indicted him in a county. Let me just tell y'all, in a county that was 84% for Donald Trump, they indicted him. I testified and the detective testified. And he was convicted. He was found guilty of civil rights intimidation, which is a felony. He can no longer vote. He can no longer have a firearm. He was convicted of harassment. So when you write these letters to the Supreme Court, include the Fifth Amendment, include the 14th Amendment, include the parts of the Constitution that are important, that are relevant to what's happening. Remind these judges that the Constitution matters. Remind these judges that that's the oath that they took. You hear what I'm saying? You remind them of the parts.
I'm not new to this. I'm true to this.
Oh, I know.
And I guess my frustration lies in what we're dealing with.
Mm-hmm.
Now, not to say that we didn't deal with it in the 70s, and I'm a product of the 60s. I'm not saying that, but this is a different twist. This is a different, even with Arioto's wife or whatever turning flags.
Alito.
I don't think the Supreme Court gives a damn. I've been there, done that before. All the things that you're saying, Danny, I've done before.
But let me tell you,
it's probably more urgent that I do it now.
Mm-hmm.
But my spirit is so focused on one, getting my family. I have 17 grandkids.
I know.
And working on my third grade. I don't know how I feel about that, but anyway, getting them in a position that they can be self-sufficient. If we have to go back to, because it's not like, I fear segregation. Even Malcolm and Martin said maybe that, that's a mistake. That whole, separating, separating it. But today, in 2025, my focus is on building entrepreneurship within my community and within my family. It is being self-sustaining.
But let me just say this.
I understand that part of it, but been there, done that. And for the youngins that's on this app now, go for it. But my spirit is no longer there. So.
I hear you. And let me say this. It doesn't matter how self-sufficient you are if we end up a completely fascist country. Entrepreneurship, go ask people in Hungary about entrepreneurship. Go ask people in Hungary about entrepreneurship. It won't matter. Entrepreneurship only works if you have a system that works. And we are talking about the system as a whole, right? And I'll just say this. If the Supreme Court didn't care, there would not have been a 9-0 decision to bring Abrego Garcia home. If the Supreme Court did not care, there would not have been an overnight decision at 1:00 in the morning to not deport another Venezuelan. If they did not care. We have to be clear about that, right? So I might say that the Trump administration don't give a fuck. That's cool. That's accurate. But I'm not going to say that about the Supreme Court because they are showing up different. Did I ever think that Brett Kavanaugh would make a decision that I would be like, fuck yes? Nope, but he did. Did I ever think that it would be Gorsuch that would do that? Nope, but he did. Did I ever think that Amy Coney Barrett would be there? Did I ever think that I would ever see a video with Amy Coney Barrett looking at Donald Trump the way the rest of us do? Nope, but we did. We saw her look at that joker the same way that we look at him, right?
don't get discouraged, because I tell you, we are in a constitutional crisis. It is true. We are here. But do not get discouraged, because the Supreme Court, they are already trying to separate themselves from three, that he nominated three of those Supreme Court justices. They are trying to separate themselves because they know that he is on a sinking ship, and America is on the verge of a revolution, and they know that he's on a sinking ship.
Yeah.
And so Amy Coney Barrett, she has come out with some stuff, just like you said, Danny. I never in my life thought that I would see. But they are, believe you me, they are trying to separate themselves from him.
They are
And so-
separating themselves.
Yes.
And
they
these
are.
decisions matter. Let me just be clear. This matters, folks. And I think that people need to understand that at the end of the day, so let me just tell you the difference. The majority of the pictures that you see from these last two protests, what kind of people are they in the street?
YT.
And that's why they're going to give a damn. Listen, the majority of the people that we have seen piling into the street are white people, right? And that is why they're going to give a damn. If it was us, they ain't going to care. It is not us, though. It's white people. And do you want to know why? Because for the first time in this country's history, for the first time for many, many, many white folk, this is the first time they have ever had to be scared of their government. Right? This is the first time for many of them. And now that it affects them, right? Right, Titus, you don't see them tear gassing no white folk, do you? You don't see no horses. You don't hear none of that, do you? You don't see the administration talking about use rubber bullets, do you? Nope. You don't hear none of that. And you're not gonna. So I'm just telling you, right? You don't see no SWAT gear coming out. You don't see no tanks in the street. You don't see none of that.
You're right.
Right. Right. Y'all talking about I didn't even see police officers. That's right. And you're not gonna. That is the difference. That is the difference. Right? So I'm not telling black folk to go run out in the street, especially not if you light and bright, because they might think we somebody else. Right? Listen, every time I go to Florida, California, or Texas, they be, I say, hey, habla español un poquito. I speak Spanish just a little bit. So, like, you can't come fully fluent with me over here. And I understand more than I can speak. So, but they always, and I've actually had people say to me, what are you? Like, I mean, I know you're not full black, but what are you? They might not know what I am. All they know is I'm not fully white. That's what they do know. They know that much, right? So let me just say this, like 100%, folks. Listen, the reality is,
I'm the same as you. I'm a light skin, but a lot of people, they either
stop, Mila.
take me for Hispanic or Cuban or Mexican, and I'm a blue dot in a red state. I'm in Kentucky,
So let me just say this about Kentucky. Y'all have a Democratic governor that was reelected. Kentucky knows how to elect Democratic people. Listen, I'm from Tennessee. A lot of times what we have are non-voting states. Okay. Yeah. Y'all love Andy. Y'all love his daddy too. Right. So in Tennessee, when only 39% of the population votes, you don't have a red state. You have a non-voting state. And so the key is communicating in a way that people can hear you, fixing the way that we communicate. Listen, one of the dumbest shits we ever said was defund the police. No, that's just dumb. That's just dumb. Like, who came up with that phrase? Fire them. Like, really? Stop saying things in a way that makes no sense. Stop saying undocumented immigrants. I would say non-citizens. Right? Non-citizen immigrants.
process of law.
That's
it.
it.
And clearly says in the Constitution, if they're on American soil, they deserve due process of law.
Period.
And all these Kentucky farmers and Nebraska farmers, Tennessee farmers, Iowa, Idaho, all these farmers are realizing without those, brown people, their crops ain't getting picked.
That reminds me. I'm so glad you said that.
The farmers are hurting in Oklahoma.
So hold on. There was something else that I wanted to.
Town hall meetings.
There was something else I wanted to give y'all. Give me just a second. I gotta find what I had.
Yeah.
Give me 1 second, because there was something that.
And parents is hitting us hard. The farmers hard.
Here we go. I got it. So listen, y'all know how they wanted to blame immigrants, undocumented immigrants, for the housing crisis, right? So let me just go ahead and give you this, okay? Immigrant workers help produce housing because they make up 25% of the construction workforce. Deporting undocumented immigrants, workers, would actually hurt the housing market because 1.3 undocumented migrants hold mortgages that will fail if they are deported. And about 3 million undocumented persons, about 30% of them, own a housing property compared to 65% of Americans. So let me just go ahead and lay that out for y'all again. They make up 25% of the construction workforce. 1.3 million of them actually hold mortgages, and 3 million of them, about 30%, own a housing property. So before we start to talk about undocumented immigrants being the problem for your housing, I keep saying this. I'm going to say this every damn live. Every live, I'm going to say this. Undocumented immigrants are not the problem, y'all. Black people are not the problem. Other poor people are not the problem. The problem are the ultra rich, cis, heterosexual white men and the corporations that they run in this country. That is the problem. That is the problem. So just be clear, y'all over here trying to throw each other off the boat, right? That's got a hole in it, and they riding by on damn yachts.
Right.
Hear me? They riding by on yachts, right? They sending little arrows over to put holes in our boat. Y'all trying to throw everybody else off the boat, and they just driving by on yachts. Talking about watch them. They blaming them. They blaming them. Oh, let's go ahead and poke another hole in the boat. Come on now, get it together. Get it together.
Who was that said if you can convince
LBJ? Listen,
man,
LBJ, you getting ready to say one of my favorite quotes. I piss people off with this quote all the time, and I'm gonna give it to you so I can give it to you the right way. It's so bad. I know this quote so much that when I just type in LB, my computer tells me the damn verse. It tells it to me because that's how often I talk about it. And here's what it says. LB Johnson said this: if you can convince the lowest white man that he's better than the best colored man, he won't notice you're picking his pocket. Hell, give him somebody to look down on, and he'll even empty his pockets for you.
Which is exactly what's going on in the United States.
Been happening. And listen, folks, I just want you all to understand something. This was said to his aide when they were driving down the streets of Nashville, Tennessee, and there were racists lining the streets with these hateful signs. And the aide said to him, I don't know where this stuff comes from. And he said, I'll tell you where it comes from. I'm from the South. I understand where this comes from. And that is what he said. And that's exactly what they've been doing. That's why they will give billionaires money to get out of jail. That's why they up here buying gold tennis shoes and boxes of cereals that they ain't never going to get. Ever. That's what they doing. Just so that we understand. Now, it has been, my friends, 3.5 hours since I joined you, roughly. Okay? So it is time for me to go now, but the plan is, notice I said plan. The plan is for me to be back this evening. I will say this. I have uploaded a new podcast episode. It is on Apple and Spotify and whatever the hell else, all of them, Audible, Amazon Music, wherever you listen to podcasts at, Podbean, it is there. It is The Danny Cook Show. If you do a search for that, you will find them there. All right. Yeah, Sammy J, I know, but guess what? NPR just put out an article that they are looking to get rid of Hegseth, that they are looking for a replacement. Yeah, Wawa, listen, it's been 3.5 hours. Y'all hear the grandbabies are on spring break. I got to do what I got to do, but I will be back. If you are, yeah, Edith, we're good. Mom is still a little bit under the weather, but my daughter is completely recuperated. So we are excited about that. I love you guys back. Make sure that you are following. I am the Danny Cook across all the socials. I appreciate you guys for liking, for sharing, for gifting, all the things. Yes, Miss Carolyn?
I was just gonna say thank you so much, Miss Danny. You give me so hope. So thank you. I really do love you. And Miss Natasha, please, baby, keep your head up, because I swear it's gonna come out better.
Yeah, it is. Better. We got this. She gonna be all right. She got it together. We're gonna get you together. We're gonna get you all the way together. You're gonna be just fine. You just need to come on. We just come on over here. I got you. So this is what we're gonna do. I will see you all again later. I will see you all tomorrow morning. Wait, listen. Tomorrow I have a very important meeting at the VA. So feel free to send all the good positive vibes and prayers, whatever it is that you do, as long as it's good, I receive it. If it is not good, I just send it back to you. So be careful what you send. Be careful what you send, people, because I'm sending it back. Return to sender. It will land straight in your lap. You'll be like, what the hell is this? I'm going to say your energy, yours. It's all you, baby. So I'm just saying this one's really important. So if I am not on tomorrow morning, I will be on tomorrow evening at the very latest, but it will be every day. So I appreciate you all very much for liking, for following, for sharing all the things, and I will see you all tomorrow. Okay. All right. I am out of here.